Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Discussing a Murderer Live after episode 28. Um, with me today, we got a pretty decent group of people. We got some stuff to talk about. Why don't we just go ahead and meet everybody first, and then I'll address the comment section and greet everybody in the comments. So, first, let's go over to Calf and welcome Calf. Nice to see you, Calf. I'm so glad that you are back from your vacation and you're working diligently to solve this case.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, the holiday was good and it was good to be back. Just that's it. Hi, everyone, and whatever.
Well, it's nice to see you. I'm glad to have you back. We missed you when you were gone. So thanks for joining
Yeah,
us.
thank you.
And Danny, long time no see, my friend. Welcome back. Welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me back, Jeff. Yeah, it's as all you know, life gets chaotic and you got to take care of some stuff, but it's good to be back in the community again and working on this case again.
Well, it's what you got to do. Hey,
Yeah.
if the problem with having Denny on the panel is I might start falling back into my Wisconsin accent again. So that'll be interesting. It's great to have you, man. Always great insight that you bring to the case. So appreciate you joining us. It's going to be awesome. Um, Kelly, also welcome back. It's going to be awesome. Maybe it's not going to be
Hello,
awesome.
good morning.
Oh yeah.
Hello, I'm here. Sorry. Yes, good morning. It's good to be back. And I don't think I have anything else to kind of say until we get started.
Yeah, we got to rev this machine up. Once we get going, we usually go about 3 hours. That doesn't mean that we have to, but that's usually what we've been hitting lately. Last few lives that we've done, we do the live out there for the viewers. We do it about every 2 weeks. We've been on this schedule for a few months now, and we've been going through pictures. We've been talking about the premiere. We've been doing all sorts of stuff, and of course, Jack has been helping us throughout all this with photos and Jody calls 2 weeks ago that we did. So, thanks for joining us again, Jack.
Absolutely. Greetings and salutations. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to everyone that's listening. And, I just have to make one comment. I'm going to bet, it's great that Calf is back, and Denny's here, but I'm going to bet that Calf would be back on vacation with little drinks with little umbrellas in them. I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, prefer to do that. I think some of us we all need a vacation. We just had spring break here, and I was able to do a little bit of golfing. Not enough kicking back. Stuck in the office again, doing training stuff when I want to be outside. But I'm gonna get a little break myself here, so I'm pretty excited. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Take a couple days for myself, probably. But we all need a break, right? We all need a vacation. Everybody does it. Everybody needs it.
Absolutely.
So let's check out the chat right now and see here. Bethany's there. Thanks, Bethany. I know you also shared on your social media today and gave us comments. Appreciate that. Hey, Mary, thanks for coming on over. And Shandy Elliott for coming on over from the premiere. Gloria, I see, is there. And rumor has it, nice to see you joining us. And Hugh Frazier, Master Cedar. I think that's just about everybody that is in the chat. Mary,
the lovely Dark Side.
Case 10. Oh, there's Dark Side. Dark Side is here with us. And if I forgot anybody, I didn't do it on purpose. But I think I did get everyone, actually. So really appreciate you guys joining us. And as I said, now we're on the race to 900 followers. With the ultimate goal of breaking 1,000 by the end of the year. No, I'm just kidding. We should get there before that. But please like and share and help us grow. Help us get the word out. Kathy, nice to see you. And AP, nice to see you. Brian is in chat, but he's not in the live. Maybe Brian can make it a little later. Just like we said, just like Denny said. You get busy with life. It's cool. So we got Brian down and Denny up. Next man up. It's like a football game, isn't that right? That's how they do it in the pros. Next man up, or woman. We don't discriminate. So, guys, what did you? Any comments about the premiere? Anything that popped out? I know for me that the swabs, I always knew about the swabs of the hood latch, but I guess I kind of spaced out on some of the specific details, or I just had a memory lapse on it that I didn't realize that part about Wiegert probably obtaining those swabs and then signing Hawkins' name instead. I guess it was a little part that I just kind of forgot about, and it's not a little part at all, and it shouldn't be forgotten.
No, it's a really big deal. I don't know, those that have been around probably know, but Henbury filed a mandamus motion on this because of not only that, but some other things that he had, because he couldn't get any satisfaction at all from Calumet County. Of course, Wiegert was in charge, so go figure. But it took he filed a mandamus with the DOJ about this specific issue and others. It took 20. This is a guess here because I don't remember exactly, but I think it was 22 months it took to get a reply from the DOJ. 22 months. It was also there was an issue between this potential forging, alleged forging that Wiegert did with signing investigator and sergeant, going back to documents and re-signing them as one or the other. I think Henbury, from everything that all the information that he had, that happened. Can't prove otherwise. I can't see it otherwise personally. Again, we're limited. It's kind of like being in a restaurant or a store. You may be growing, but you're landlocked and you can't go anywhere else. So this is what the information that we have. There's clearly more information, a mountain of information that we don't have. So anyway, yeah, that is a really interesting thing about him collecting those and signing Hawkins' name. To me, that's a huge effing deal.
And I brought up in the podcast as well that it's not the only time we see this in this case. Now, I can think off the top of my head at least one other one, and that's trying to get Kucharski to write on a report that he found the key and that he was going to be, and that he would take ownership for being the one. But he didn't find the key. He's not the one that found it, and that's a big tell for me.
It is. It's a problem. Link's the one that says, what's that? Oh, you were monkeying around with that cabinet there. It must have just kind of slid out of that magic compartment.
Hey Kucharski, you're not Manitowoc officer. Why don't you put that on your report? And he's like, no, I'm not doing that. Are you kidding?
Speaking of that, the cabinet, that's actually the first picture we're going to start with later. So just keep that in mind.
Hey, that's how you do it in broadcasting. You get to tease the viewer and the listener for the next thing coming down. We're going to get to pictures and we're going to start at that cabinet. Oh, yeah. Actually, I have another picture to share that we were talking about. Unless you guys, does anybody else have comments to make about that? About the premiere that we just did on the panel here, anything about that swab or Wiegert or anything else to add?
Denny, you got something?
Oh yeah, just to go back to how you guys were talking about name changes on stuff and that. The other one that I found to be always very interesting is the report of the AudioVox phone. It has I can't think of his name now. Campion?
Yep. John Campion.
Yep. And yet in court, Pam testifies about that because she was there, but she's not mentioned in that report at all.
Nope. That's correct. Completely left out.
I always found that interesting how she's left out of that report, but yet his question about it when she's on the witness stand.
Yep, that's right. Well, I have one more thing just to add about the swabs. This is a Reddit discussion. I don't remember which thread it was, but go figure. I'm sure I could find it. But nonetheless, no, I'm sorry. It was a YouTube comment somebody had made somewhere on, I don't even remember whose video it was, but they were talking about the swabs and the blood. They were questioning about it. The blood found in the RAV, and where did this fresh blood come from? Basically calling it out as saying it couldn't have come anywhere else except for Avery's cut finger. Well, maybe, but we can't forget this is a fact too, and we can't get around it. They seized Avery's Grand Am on the following day, whatever, and it was at the Madison Crime Lab. Sherry Culhane collected all the swabs, and she controlled all the swabs. End of story.
End of story. Well, a lot of stories seem to end with Sherry Culhane, unfortunately.
That's what you
Gav,
need,
you got
really,
something to
isn't
add?
it? You just need Sherry Culhane. That's really all you need.
I think, I've heard a lot of people say that, and if you think about it, it rings true. I think I've heard Cal say that. I think I've probably heard Jack say that. I think we've all probably.
Silkman
You
said
really
it.
do. Silkman has said it. We all.
Mm-hmm.
If you have one person, and Jack, I remember you saying even on a podcast, because there's a documentary called How to Fix a Drug Scandal, where we get to see behind the scenes how one lab technician can be responsible for a plethora
thousands of cases
of wrongful cases, or manipulated one way or the other for whichever way they wanted it, right?
That's right. And
One person
and the state attorney general or whoever, somehow higher up in that state, tried to bury it. Oh, it's just an isolated incident. The hell it was. It was massive. It was a huge thing.
Yeah, it was a huge scandal. I mean, if you haven't seen it yet, go check out How to Fix a Drug Scandal. That was a very eye-opening about the abilities for a technician to really just circumvent justice, circumvent any other evidence collection methods. It's just, and we've heard it time and time again here. All you can do is switch a couple labels. Boom, boom. You have it all in front of you. You have,
and if it was
genomic DNA at your desk. I mean,
if it wasn't for that detective or not detective, I'm sorry, that lawyer that got it in his teeth and wouldn't let it go, he's the one that dug all this shit up. It was this guy, man. If I got in real trouble, he's another lawyer that I'd want in my corner, because he would not let it go, and he found all kinds of shit eventually. Of course, it was really kind of too late for one of his clients committed suicide because he had this shit hanging over his head. Yeah, not kidding. It's you think you forget about the human element a lot of times. I guess I'm not going to get off into that, but when you get a charge like that hanging, in your ear, and you got a family and whatever, it can really weigh on a person. So, but this guy, man, he would not stop.
well, we don't stop either, do we? We don't stop. On to the next.
On to the next.
Here's a picture that's been kind of floated around in our in our chats, in our groups, in our research groups that we have, and people that we talk to on the regular. How did this start? I guess Kel, you sent me this picture because you were talking. We were talking about it. About what is this screwdriver? It doesn't look melted. That's one thing that I noticed early on. It doesn't look melted, but the one thing that sticks out at me is we don't have a blunt and bloody object. We don't have a murder weapon. We don't have anything resembling a knife or anything. This screwdriver could be used as a weapon. And I'm not saying that it was. I don't even know where this screwdriver, it could be completely unrelated. But in a case where we don't have a lot of options, we have a few pictures of it looks like a socket set. in the back of the RAV that could be maybe a blunt and bloody object. I'm not really sure. So I just thought it was an interesting picture that's been floating around. So if you guys have anything to add to what I kind of laid out there, please pipe up.
Well, sure. Firstly, I just kind of wanted to let everyone know, in case everyone's wondering, is this from the burn barrel, where it's from? This was actually found in Stephen Avery's pit. I was given this photo a few days ago as well in a group, and we all were kind of like just looking at it, assessing our thoughts on it. I actually think that besides the fact that, Jeff Jones has made a good point that it could be obviously a murder weapon, but what is something a part of the case, another aspect to it that we know it could have a connection to, and that's the license plates. What if this screwdriver was used to remove the license plate? I have so many questions about this screwdriver, especially the fact that it was in the burn pit. Again, visual aspect of it as well. It doesn't look burnt, but I don't know how hard it is to burn a screwdriver. And I don't know if we can see the full, the full handle of it to see if there is any kind of melting or like fire substance kind of residue on it. So it's hard to see whether it was put in after the fact or amongst it or where it comes from. But yeah, for me, I think it's an interesting little situation, because it could be so significant or to the case to no significance whatsoever. So yeah.
I don't even think it's been it wasn't in evidence as being tested either. I can't remember ever seeing that. Can anyone else? Was it ever collected?
Collected in a bag, and we just went through all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna we're gonna be looking at some photos. I don't remember this screwdriver. I'm not saying it's not in these photos. It could be, and I just don't recall it. But what jumps out at me immediately, two things. It's not melted, and I can tell you, as an owner of many tools over many years, yes, you can melt them. You don't have to get out. It doesn't have to be a cherry red fire. It's got to be pretty hot to start melting the plastic, but it would definitely melt in a fire like that. Even a small, pit fire, it's going to melt. There's going to be a melting effect to that handle. I'm sure of it.
I think so too. I would agree with that. Something more noticeable would be. And the only thing I wanted to add to that, on top of your comment, Jack, is someone who's been around a lot of tools. I see this tool as one of the most common screwdrivers available in the Midwest. Everybody has this exact model.
We have that toolkit. We have those.
Yeah, everybody has one that looks like that, right?
It looks like the old, pearlish or transparent Craftsman screwdrivers with a blue band around it, and they have made flathead, Phillips head, and they have different sizes of each, going from real small to pretty damn big.
I think for me as well. Sorry, Joe Jackson, please continue.
I was just going to say also, to add to that, if you look at the shaft where comes down to the point of the screwdriver head, I don't see anything black on there at all. Nothing. Looks clean.
Yeah, and that kind of takes me to what I was about to say. It was, what would be I think that was what was getting into my head the most, is what is the purpose of throwing it into the fire pit? Like, it's a screwdriver. We've all got one. My husband's got one in the shed. It's universal around the world. Like, it's just such a standard screwdriver. So let's say theoretically it was used to undo the license plates or whatever. Why would you want to get rid of it? Like, so what if your DNA is on it? You live on the Avery salvage yard. If it belongs from the Avery salvage yard, you could put it in a shed anywhere. And why would you just test this item because it's so, normal? Why throw it into the pit to make it stand out? That it's something there that shouldn't be in a pit, versus just putting it back into any kind of shed storage and making it disappear. And then I was thinking, well, maybe it was to get rid of DNA on it. But then, like we've all just said, it doesn't look burnt. So if it hasn't been burnt, then what's the purpose of, trying to single it out to make someone look? Is someone trying to make another connection, like, oh, screwdriver, and then kind of get people to think screwdriver, weapon, license plates? Like, what is the purpose?
It's a great idea because we know. Wow, can we see if that is a? I'm sorry to be like this, but is that a Phillips or is that a flat? So, you know what I mean? Like,
It's not a flathead, I don't think. I think it's one of those ones with the 4 little prongs on the
Yeah,
end.
it looks like a Phillips head to me.
Phillips, yeah, that's it.
It looks like a Phillips.
so were the license plates flathead or Phillips? You know what I mean? Let's diagnose it. Do we have a picture? Can we identify? That's kind of a far-fetched thing, but maybe at some point we can look that up and see if there's a picture to identify.
I think most license plate screws are the hex head.
Like a nut.
Yeah, and
There we
hex
go.
head screw or hex head nut, and they're usually like 1/4 inch or 5/16.
Well,
What
could
if it
that
was
be a
used
hex
to take
head?
the plates off
Not
Teresa's
could that be a hex
car?
head?
What if it was used to take the plates off?
I think that's what Kel. Kel, is that what you were trying to get at? Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think it was.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, it
Okay.
was the license plate to take them off. But that's what I mean, because I'm trying to find the
Why is it
connection
not
to
burned?
why.
You know, like,
Why
why
is it not
isn't it
burnt
burned?
then? Like,
more?
why?
Yeah.
Why? And okay, so here was the other thing that I was thinking, right? See, the license plate in itself is another discussion on its own, but it never seems to match anything. Like, there's no, like, if someone was framing Stephen in a sense and was trying to use the license plates to do that, for me, it's the most distant, unconnected piece of evidence that there is. It was away from his trailer. It wasn't in a spot where it has a direct connection to him. There's just no feeling of this was what we were planning to do. It was more like someone's panicked and they've thrown it in there because they've got to get rid of them. Or when I have considered that it was law enforcement that was doing the planting, that they were just trying to put another piece of evidence somewhere on the property to make the search wider. So if one plan didn't go to plan, they always had backup. There was always a backup. So if you don't find this correctly, we could find another piece of item in another manner. But yeah, I think, and then in my head when I was trying to think about this screwdriver and taking the plates off, if you've got the screwdriver in your one hand and you've got the plates that you've just taken off in the other, why would you separate the two? Why are you now walking around with a screwdriver and plates? Why not just chuck it all in the back of the RAV? And if you're planning on getting rid of the RAV as an entirety, whether it's to crush it or get rid of it later, why would you not put it all together? Why is there such this big separation of everything? Ugh, just doing my head in.
No, I think it's a good thing to bring forward, though, because not only just us on the panel, but people in chat and everybody can start thinking about scenarios about why is this screwdriver here, mostly unmelted, looking pretty pristine, and why would you dump it? Well, we know that the plates just got removed, and I don't want to be caught with a screwdriver when people find, oh, here's the license plate, guys. And then they're like, hey, what do you got in your hand? Oh, that's a screwdriver. And what do you need a screwdriver? You know what I mean? You want to get rid of it. And I mean, if you're a law enforcement officer, you might even grab a tool from the Avery warehouse, take it off, and then leave their own tool, right? You don't bring your own tool to the game, do you? I'm just saying, there's so many different possible scenarios that bringing this forward should help jostle something loose. Everybody's can throw in their 2 cents. It's interesting. And I'm really glad that we're talking about it. Anybody else?
I
Got anything?
just sent you. I just sent you a photo, Jeff.
Okay.
Check your Discord. I don't know if this is what they found in the pit or not. I was just scanning the 2,000 photos 2,100 something photos, and I caught that one. And I think there may be another photo of it as well.
Well, really nice find, Jack.
Oh wow, that looks like it's it,
Really does, doesn't
and it does look burnt.
It looks more, well, it looks blackened at least from sitting in a
Yeah.
pile of ash, right?
Yeah, that's true. How
And
how hard is it to melt that though? Would it?
It's a hard, I don't know exactly.
you
It's
did,
a
you
hard
did,
plastic.
yeah, it's a hard
A
plastic,
lighter,
and
if you hold a lighter to the end of it, you could get it to bubble within probably like 30 seconds, a minute, something like that. That's what I'm guessing.
yeah,
Like it's
probably.
It's going to be hard to really melt this thing down, but in any burn pit, that thing should be a pile of a pile of plastic and sticking out the end of the metal. You know what I mean? It shouldn't keep its form if it was in a burn barrel fire.
I
Does
sent
it,
you another. I sent you.
does it
I sent
say
you
where
another.
it came from,
I'm
Jack?
sorry. I'm
Oh,
sorry. What was the question?
Does it say where it came from? Like, has it got an item number or anything? Because like that,
It,
I know
it does.
it's the same, but I thought we'd decided it was a Phillips head.
It does have a item number. It's 70. Hold on. 7332.
7332.
Yep.
Or 7932.
Looks like
Maybe some-
7932.
I'm sorry.
79.
Yep, you're correct. It is 7932. I apologize.
It's really small. Heck, no worries. Oh, it's bigger on my other screen. Yeah, definitely 7932. I got a big version here.
Yeah, I found this.
Well, there's
This
the
is pretty
dirt.
far.
I mean,
This is. Yeah, this is pretty far down, and the photo, the folder of photos that we're going to be looking at, this is pretty far down. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I didn't. I was just describing the screwdriver, just noticing there's still some dirt on it. It looks like it was in the pit, but not burnt. That's my unprofessional opinion. That thing was in the fire pit, but was never in a fire. It was never when the fire was active. It was thrown in after. And I think
agree.
Kel's idea is so logical and simple that
Occam's razor.
I'm kind of sold on it. I don't think we could ever prove it, but for me, it just fits so well.
Occam's razor. The license plate was tested for DNA, right? It was, and they found DNA,
Yep.
male DNA, but it was unidentified, as I recall. Partial profile, maybe, Kel? I can't recall.
Yeah.
And that's
yeah,
only if
DNA
someone's
of a
in POTUS, right?
partial male.
Partial male. But they can't run
Yeah.
a partial male, and if they could, it would only be against people who are in CODIS.
That's right.
Yeah.
But
But like
but
Dr.
if
Zuckman said,
Sorry to say it like this, but law enforcement officers aren't typically in CODIS, are they?
no,
So, just
No.
saying, the odds of getting matched to CODIS as a law enforcement officer are pretty effing low. Okay, that's it. Denny?
Oh, I was just gonna say partial male. It also sounds like 823.
yep.
sure does. I don't think any of the alleles on the partial profile matched any of the DNA that they took from anyone, in the family or whatever. As far as I know, none of the alleles matched, or they would have
No.
jumped all over it.
Exactly.
And I just
Exactly.
rewatched
Because
November
they have
9th.
the baseline of everyone's. They have the baseline of everyone's DNA. So although you need more alleles, but the thing is, you can, with the partial, as long as you have, like Dr. Silkman said, as long as you have like the baseline of a few, and it'd probably be a bit more manual handling in terms of just cross-referencing the DNA partials to the people you've got. But in a sense, they got all the Averys and all the Dassies. And in my opinion, if one of them did flag up as, even one that was a match in a sense, they'd be all over it.
They would have.
But in saying that, I will say that they were very, very careful how to ask Sherry Colhane, and she was even more careful how she answered questions. And the reason why she was very careful how she answered it, she never, when she was asked about whether it was Stephen Avery's blood, especially for the DNA of A23, she said no, but she didn't elaborate on the fact that it didn't match anyone else's. It was just, she only answered those details that matched the question. She wouldn't go any further than what she was asked. So in a sense, if they maybe, I don't know whether they had any grounds to kind of push her anymore, because she might not have known anymore. Maybe when the moment she realized that the partials weren't matching Stephen, she just was like, they don't match, so I'm not looking. But that kind of makes no sense when you did have another party involved that was being accused. So where was her, was she cross-referencing everything against Brendan? Because she openly said, I never found Brendan Dassey either. So she clearly was doing some sort of comparisons.
Yep.
I think it's a good point Rumor brings up right here just before I let it go. Just to be clear about, I don't think law enforcement is exempt from the database. But in order to get into CODIS, you have to commit a crime. And in order to become law enforcement, I don't think you can have a felony. So do you see what I'm saying? Like the odds of a law enforcement officer, unless there was like some paternity test or something, and I don't even know if they put it in CODIS for that. I think it's only for felons. For you have to have committed a felony and been booked through the system to have your DNA in that. And if someone can correct me on that, I'd be happy to be corrected.
Because there have been changes throughout the various states about DNA collection, when somebody gets arrested. And I would really be afraid to answer that in any other way except to agree with you that you have to be a felon before they'll collect your DNA. I don't know. It just seems like in a few localities, maybe in Oklahoma,
There's always a possibility that there's exceptions to that rule, but generally speaking, that's how I understand it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, but if I'm wrong and somebody out there in chat knows that I'm wrong, don't let me go under the wrong assumption, because here at Discussing a Murderer, we want the correct answer. We don't want to go under wrong assumptions.
That's right. That's right.
We want the correct answer. If I'm wrong, please correct me so I don't continue to embarrass myself. Thank you, folks.
Same here. We don't want to put out any misinformation or innuendo in any way.
That's right. So yeah, as said in the comments, screwdriver could be something, it could be nothing. I think that the suspicious part, and I don't know if anybody on the panel wants to address it, the suspicious part is that it's not burnt, that it's just laying there when all this stuff is going on. That had it been burnt, it might be less suspicious, but the fact that a decent looking screwdriver is
I totally agree. Absolutely. I mean, if they're going to throw something in a fire pit like that, you expect it to be burnt, at least to some degree, maybe not burned up. Right? Yeah, that's right.
Or you're throwing it there to ditch it. You know what I mean? And I think the other comment came up, and it's a good comment. Well, whoever was poking around in the barrel didn't want to get their hands on whatever they were touching and just used it as a tool, to kind of poke things around or move things in the fire. And it could be totally nothing. I agree. But at this point, there's not many avenues left in this case to explore. Well, there is, but everything's kind of been combed over. So we're kind of taking a closer look, taking a more fine detail. And when things come up in conversation, that's why we talk about it here on this live after Discussing a Murder. So
that's why I constantly, and I know that people get tired of hearing it, but this lack of information, we get snapshots. Sometimes they cover a pretty good clip of time, but there are other places where we have snapshot, and then a period of time goes by, snapshot, another period of time. So we're left wondering what the fuck happened. It's really aggravating.
I just want to say, just so we can get the balance here, because we are focusing on the screwdriver, there was other tools in a sense that was documented around the fire pit. We have shovels.
That's right.
And
Hammer.
we also have a hammer. So it's not like it's an isolated. That's why I said at the beginning, this could be as significant to the case as little as anything. When you've got other tools around it, it could paint a different picture of why it was even used. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of bring that one in as well.
Yeah, but I think that your original point, this one was in the fire pit, and that's significant to me. And it's not burned. Like it was out, it was like, just kick that son of a bitch over there or whatever, it's in there and it's not burned. It's, I don't know. It's a good catch, whatever it means.
I agree. Well,
I know this is sorry, Jeff. I don't mean to cut you off. It's just that while we're kind of in that zone, I just want to kind of circle back to it. And I know I apologize to everyone if they eye roll so hard they come out, their eyeballs come out their head here because it's such a discussion that we've all been there. But I have to bring it back up. The license plate. So the fact that it was, again, like I was saying, it doesn't feel like there's any kind of connection to them in terms of where they were located. They were located on like the, where would you say it was? Like the borderline of the Avery salvage yard? How would you describe it, J-Jax?
Oh, I probably would call it the periphery, if that's a good word to use. The borders.
Yeah, that's
it was wide open to anyone. So I mean, it's really a border. So yeah.
So the reason why I get really confused with it is because you've got these plates that were put in this vehicle that had the windows either smashed in or down. So again, automatic convenience. You have the flyover where there's that part where they are flying over and it's almost like they zoom into this car, like they focus in on it. I know it could be a coincidence, but it's still a very interesting point in the flyover that we do have. But the one thing that really gets me is if you're going into the trailer, for example, to plant the key, why not take the plates? Why not put them in Stephen's garage or throw it under his trailer and again make that direct connection? That is why I struggle to think. I'm struggling with the plates to see whether if it was law enforcement that was involved in planting or whether it was the killer and they've panicked and they've just thrown them. But then that means that if they're just throwing it because they're panicking, their mind's not thinking about that connecting factor of framing, whether it's their uncle, their brother, their neighbor, an acquaintance. That thought process is gone because if the framer is the same person that put the plates there, there's this disconnection of them. I just can't. I really struggle with the plates. Is that just me or is anyone else kind of there with me?
I'm there. I think in a way the swabs and the plates, in a way, they're kind of this peripheral tertiary evidence, right? This out on the fringe kind of stuff that we've always talked about, Kel. Layers, right? Layers. You got your core evidence. It's blood in the breath, but you need more pieces. Acts. What do you say? Like additional pieces that help you put together this whole puzzle. And so, in a way, they kind of relate because they're not like right in the front, the main dish, but there's all these little things going on
in your face kind of things. The key's in your face.
Right.
The blood's in your face. These are off to the side. I agree.
And the thing is, it's like the key is also like, well, we kind of don't want to talk about the key. We want to use it as evidence, but we really don't want to talk about it, kind of thing, And I think there's so many tells in the case like that, like trying to sign someone else's name, the way that you avoid pieces of evidence. You don't want to talk about the quarry, right? Like these things are big tells to me.
I shared some Google photos of the RAV. I knew I had some where it showed the front bumper. I think I got one that shows the back to see if there were any screws. If you want to pull that up.
Oh, nice work. Nice thinking. Yeah, I got you pulled up. I don't know if you can zoom.
I'm going to.
I can see screw openings, but no, we don't know. We'd have to see one.
Just the holes, no screws.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
what I wanted to check, and I wanted to do it for everyone. So let's move forward. I think maybe there might be something on the back here. No, it's on the other side.
It is potential, like in the other option. I think I've seen. Is it right to have wing nuts, like a little tight, finger tight screw? I think I've seen that, but that's pretty rare. Most of them are screw in. Every time I've changed license plates, I had to get the tools out.
To me, that one looks like the screw broke off on the left side.
But it looked like to me too.
Could be. Who's got the other half of that screw? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yes,
well,
you know what I'm thinking? I had a theory once that they pulled the plates from, like, they grabbed them with their hands from either side and then just ripped it.
Oh yeah, I've seen that done. You know, it's hard, but you can do it if you get a tear going. Yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, like, you know how they're folded as well? Like, if you grab each side and pull it, it's going to maybe make that same pattern. That's, I
Right.
don't know. But I've never seen that picture with the screw in there, so that's interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to show that. I thought we had a couple of photos that showed the plate area,
No, it's
but I couldn't.
Thank you. And
I couldn't remember
I'll
if
dig
there were
up
any
the one
screws
I
in there or
got.
not. Yeah.
Like, because think about it. Would they have a screwdriver handy, or would they just rip them off with their hands?
Yeah, that's a
I'm
good
gonna say
thought.
the ripping off with the hands is possible, but I think you're quite likely to cut yourself or hurt yourself or fall down.
Well,
That
there
would
was
be
blood on the
my-
back of the RAV, A23.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of just saw it right there actually when in that last picture, which reminds me, which is an interesting thing because in Steven's November 9th interview with Wiegert Fassbender, the one that's on video, they tell him straight out, we have your bloody print on her car. We have your bloody handprint on her car. And he's like, what? So, I mean, at that point, they would have known that there was a spot there. And so, but that ain't, turns out it's not his. You know what I mean? Like, something's wrong with this crime, folks.
You know, I want to point out something else. I'm not going to get us off track here, but it's another one of these things that's on the periphery that it's just completely ignored. You see how they got this little sticker right here? You'll see my mouse going around that indicates something, which this is blood here. We know that. But look right up here on the post.
Nothing. That's
Something
not
was-
documented.
Could that be where they were pulling latent prints from? Because there's a
Well-
bunch of different prints that they.
8
Uh,
isn't there? 8 unidentified prints.
Yeah.
Right. 8 sets of latent prints. That's right. Yeah, there are
It's
other
just a
photos.
thought because they are kind of all over the place. I've seen them in the pictures.
With the Google Photos, I can't zoom in any tighter than what I am. But there are other photos that it kind of looks like a hole in this right here. Maybe I can dig those up at some point, but you know, it's another one of those things. It's like, wait, what is that? Because you can see it in this photo right there. There's a white sticker there. So they found something right here. They marked it. And as far as I know, there's nothing documented about it. Nothing. At least for us.
Case 10's making jokes. Is it bird shit?
Well, I've heard, I've heard that before too. And it's possible it could have been, but I think that's it. I'm just skipping through these right quick.
So is this
These
what
are
we're gonna
photo-
cruise through today, or do you have another set for us?
No. We've already looked at these. I've got thousands of photos in this other folder, and I don't. There's probably. Actually, I think we've already looked at the RAV4 photos in that other folder because we started out. If you remember, we looked at some, but it was getting pretty late, so we stopped. So, yeah, again, they marked this here with a sticker, and we know that there's blood, around in this area, So I don't know what that other sticker up there is. I guess it could be, I don't want to throw out any innuendo. There was talk that it was a bullet hole, an arrow. Somebody shot a freaking arrow and it created a hole, but there's nothing documented about it. And maybe it was like Denny said, maybe it is bird crap.
I mean, it could be, that's the thing. And I think it is clear. It's an important thing for us to remember that you can interpret things one way and be like, oh, that could have been the murder weapon, or it could mean absolutely nothing. Right.
That's
and it's
right.
important to keep that our wits about ourselves, when we are going through things.
And one more thing before I start sharing this screen, the spare tire. I want everybody to pay attention to that. This tire has never been on the ground. This is what, well, at least in some manufacturers, but a lot of them do it. They mark their tires, and this marking comes off really quick when you drive on it. It's gone. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. That doesn't last long. Like if you get brand new tires and you drive home, that's not there when you get home.
It's gone. That's right. It's gone.
Yeah. So I want to read through this comment that Henbury made, because I think it really does touch on what we were. He says that Riddle testified he had the tow truck driver print standards for comparison to the latent prints. There's no tow truck driver print standards in evidence.
That's right.
Pretty good comment.
It's exactly right. Another thing on the periphery, of this whole pile of stuff that's, it looks circumstantial, but when you start adding up the number of things that just, well, yeah, it's important, but they just don't, it just kind of falls away, and they stick the three big things in your face: the RAV, the key, the blood, and then everything else is secondary, third, fourth, way on down the ladder. But they do matter. I'm sorry, they do.
Yeah, I mean, all these things do add up. I agree. Oh, man, there was a comment I had, and I think it was going to thread really well, and it just kind of left me. I try to type them out before so I don't lose it, but this time lost that one. Anybody else have any more comments to make on, what we were talking about, the RAV or the was there anything in comments that we needed to hit? I think we got Henbury's. Oh, thanks, Travis, for joining us. In evidence means admitted at trial. This doesn't matter. I'm not quite sure what you're saying, but I appreciate you commenting and coming in. Well, as we go on, we usually do some pictures, and Jack, if you have that album, we can just kind of cruise from where we left off.
I do, but I did want to make a comment, if nobody minds, and this is about the Jody calls. And
absolutely.
We've had a few weeks to kind of these things to soak in and get a larger understanding of about her. And I made this comment recently. I mean, I really and I kind of still do in a way. It's much lower on the scale. I really kind of felt bad for Jody for as much as they went after her, because they really went after her. I don't care what anyone says. And for someone that wasn't on the, pardon my French, the fucking property when this went down, it really stands out in my mind as from an investigative standpoint of what they tried to do with Jody, was to get her to flip and just say all this bad shit about Stephen. Whether it was true or not, I don't think they cared. Because why would you keep going back to someone that clearly says, I don't want to talk to you guys no more. I don't want to be involved. Thank you. No, thank you. Anyway, these calls, they've generated a lot of commentary. I've gotten a lot of, private conversations. I mean, nothing that we don't already know, but just, people's thoughts. And, there's been a lot of comments on YouTube about the various calls that these Jody calls. And I'm going to tell you, from my personal standpoint, my view has changed completely, because she was really playing a game. She really was. And if you once you get into the later calls, you understand this because she wanted. She I know she had. Her sights set on having a beer and cigarettes. That what we heard a lot, and that went on for a while. There were other things going on as well. She clearly knew that Chuck was interested in her as a housemate. Whatever. He really wanted her to move in. You could clearly hear that in the numerous conversations, and she kept rebuffing him ever so gently because he was buying her phone cards and so forth.
Not to interrupt you, Jack, but at one point, not so gently, right? And says,
yeah, "That's right.
That's the furthest thing from my mind right now."
That's right.
Him down.
That's exactly right. But she also, introduced having Tori Barron talk half the time with him, and they would split the 15 minutes into, 7.5 minutes each. So Tori, she talked your head off. She almost seemed like she was hyper. Really hyper. So I think she was trying to turn Chuck onto Tori to get him off of her, but still remain friends. But ultimately, she wanted that Ford F-350 truck, and she was going to get it. You could clearly, she got a plan in place. She was going to get that truck, and I don't know what the conversation she had with Rolly because we don't have that. There's also another conversation that she said she told Dolores that she called Debbie Klemp, I guess is her name, and confronted her about talking to Steven. We don't have that call either. For whatever reason, it's not included, which I guess I have somewhat of a problem with that. I guess I can see why they might leave it out. But at the same time, if they're going to leave that out, why include these calls that Tori made to Chuck? I don't know. There's just weird shit going on in my brain as to how they decided what to give me. I'm glad that MTSO came through and they did deliver at least some of the jail calls that we didn't have. I know there's more. I know there are, and why we can't have those, I really don't understand. There are other calls that are missing too. That I don't know. I'm working on it. Anyway, I just wanted to make that comment about the Jody calls. They're people are still going through them and commenting, and that's much appreciated. But my overall view for Jody, because she was clearly scheming. She was scheming to get this truck from Steven. She's talking to Steven, and he's saying, "Now, I don't want you talking to Chuck and Earl. I'm not, blah, blah, blah. Now, you don't need to be talking to Debbie." And she'd get off the phone from Dolores talking to Steven and call Chuck. It's like, what the hell are you doing, man? So she was definitely playing the game.
Working every angle, too, isn't he? Chuck said,
"Oh, yeah.
He's talking to Debbie, right? He's talking to Debbie, right? Oh, she is? Okay, give me the phone. I'm going to call him, right?" You know what I mean? Like, he's stoking the fire.
Yep. And that's along with, Wiegert and Baldwin calling her up to the office, feeding her cigarettes and soda, playing calls for her. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that before we start on the photos, and I will pull them up right now.
Yeah, I absolutely got different feelings about what was going on. And, there is one point that I think is worth addressing because I think how it's interpreted by Chuck. At one point, he says to Jody that he doesn't want Steven out of jail. And the way that it plays is not really good for it. It sounds really bad. But then I had to remember that he just found out, and according to Barb, not according to the cops or the TV, according to Barb, Steven pressured Brendan to be involved in this crime. And if you're Chuck, at that point, you don't want Steven out if you do believe that he's pressured Brendan into committing a crime. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, and you can't forget is on the night of the 27th or the 28th. I think it was the 27th. Fassbender and another special agent went to Chuck's house around 10 o'clock to interview him, and they told him a lot of information, and he believed them. He bought it, whatever they said to him. So he did, and so he immediately thought that Steven did it without doing anything else. He believed it. And, we've talked about it. I'm not going to belabor it, but, we've talked about the potential family jealousy and so forth. Steven was in line to get a lot of money. So I can't imagine that didn't play some aspect at least brought back some of those feelings for Chuck that, Steven, he could have potentially brought in a lot of money to the salvage yard and him being the head honcho instead of Chuck. So anyway.
Well, here's a pretty infamous photo, or at least infamous end table.
I backed this up just a little bit, but not much. And we were talking about the old record cabinet that were earlier. And, these photos are numbered as they are. I didn't change anything. This is one of the guns, obviously. Another photo of the record cabinet. And let me date this right here before we move any further forward. See what the date says on it. This says December the 9th, 2005, 4:26 p.m. So, December the 9th. And I believe this is the day that they came in and took it. They got another warrant to go get it. So, all right. Let me continue to move because we have a lot of photos here. This is the gun rack, obviously. The infamous gun rack that hung behind on the wall there. Yeah, here we go. This is one of the ones I wanted to point out. It's gonna pop up here and you'll see it. And I zoomed in a little bit.
How are you going to slide a key through this?
Well, I mean, in this photo, to me, I don't see that the back is loose at all. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll see if I can get
for a key to fall through. That's for sure.
I mean, I see a little bit of a crack there, but it could just be the angle of the photo. I mean, they're not high def, but they're certainly not like really low definition either. But yeah. Sorry, I'm not seeing it.
The whole shaking of it, I think that was unnecessary. You could just pull the stuff out with your hands. You don't have to start shaking it vigorously.
Yep, I agree. And you can clearly see where magazines were slid in there and all the dust and stuff. Of course, according to Fassbender, they scoured that trailer. It's been scoured. Okay, whatever. If there was a key and Bob laying down in this region down here, you would think there would be some scraping there, or it would scrape out.
Yeah, and like, how many times did they search the bedroom before the key was found?
So every other cop is a complete cell
we're not
except for
a big area here.
In Colburn, you know what I mean? Right. If you're so you're saying all these cops have been in through here, but only the two super cops, Lank and Colburn, can crack this key. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're also calling every other investigator a shitty investigator. If it took how many attempts to find the key? 8? For how many different days? You know what I mean? So
I'm going to say 6. I'm going to say 6th or 7th, and I think I'm right in saying that the trailer had been searched by 4 other officers, and they emptied this book cabinet. And I think it was a day or two, maybe 2 days prior. I can't remember, but there's another report. I'm 99% sure this cabinet was emptied and checked by other officers, and there's nothing. Now here's another photo immediately after showing this back peeled off.
Does it look like fresh pull to me, that back? Like, can you zoom up to the top little burr? Just, you see what I'm talking about on the top where the screw was pulled out? That looks so fresh to me. Like it was just pulled out. And there's another one. Yeah, well,
it certainly doesn't look like that on the other angle of the
other picture. A little higher.
No way was there a gap that big in that past picture. No way.
Yep. Is that it? That's the top?
That's the top, as far up as I can go.
That first screw hole is the one that I was trying to look at, and I think it was, that one. But you bring up a really good point, Calf, because those pictures taking a minute apart, that's when this was broken. You know what I mean? From the other picture, this wasn't gapped. There was no gap in the other picture.
Well, certainly not that. Again, like I said, it just could be the photo angle, but I don't know, man. I'm just not seeing it. I'm sorry, I just don't, because that's a pretty big freaking gap.
That's not a mistakable gap. I'm sorry. Who's our resident carpenter here? Denny, can you pipe in if you would? And what are you seeing if you're there?
The very first photo does not look like you see that gap at all. Not the nail head that's completely out, but yeah, I was just trying to move Jack's cursor to point it out. The second one up, right in the center of the screen there now. To me, the aging or the dusting or, you know, weatherized effects, whatever you want to call it, where that split around that nail head, it's not the same to me. So it looks relatively fresh.
Thank you. I wasn't trying to lead you into there.
Yeah, no,
I'm glad you came to that conclusion, but that's what I saw in my first, because the difference in tone, right? It's not like it's so white, it's so light colored where it was just freshly popped out. And in a few days, it's going to fade and you're never going to notice that, right?
Yep.
I think.
Well, I'm going to scroll.
So.
I'm going to scroll back. I'm going to go back one click to the other photo.
Well, am I just... What is... Okay, right there. Don't move the mouse. That brown, the tannish. There's a dark brown and a tan, we'll call it. The tan that you're on right now. If you go to the floor part of that tan, there's no way to mistake that as carpet that we're just misseeing it, right? There's no way to be like, that's actually the carpet from... No. That's a tight... There's no gap. Denny, you're the one that works with wood all day.
Yeah, no, I don't see a gap. And the two different color tones to me gives me the impression that the back had been replaced at one time. Because
probably
that looks like a stain line, you know, from staining of the wood. So the back doesn't even look like it's the original to the bookcase.
I would have to agree with that.
Because you see it all the way across the bottom.
That's right.
So, in my opinion, that back had been either had come off once before and put back on and not lined up, or it's a back from something else that was a little bit smaller. And that's why you got that two-tone in the stain. Or the wood coloring.
Yeah.
Well, let's not bury the lead about... I think let's not bury the lead about the screws looking freshly popped, you know?
Right.
Or nails, whatever
they look like nails. Tiny little tacks.
Right. Something that wouldn't split the wood when it was nailed into the the cabinet itself. All right, I'm going to move forward. Another one of the gun rack coming up. Oh, here's another better picture of the bottom. I forgot about this one. It's going to come up there.
I mean, before you zoom in, do you guys notice like there's staining on the side of the like water spot stains? You know what I mean? Something drip. You see that on the yeah. So I'm just saying, like, you know, they didn't check there. You know what I mean? They're not like, whoa, that could be blood. They didn't even try to check because they knew nothing happened in there, you know, because they knew nothing was in there. So why even check this stain if it's, you know? So what were you going to say, Jack? I'm sorry.
Nothing. I was just going to zoom in just a little bit. I don't want to pixel it out. But, you know, it looks to me like this has just been broken. You see the wood here? And Denny can probably confirm this. See how that's all fucked up there?
Yeah,
this looks like
where your mouse is right now looks like it's part of the back that's still trapped by that.
Correct, nail. by the nail. That's right, exactly right. So anyway, all right, let's move on.
Hey, maybe they use that screwdriver in the pit to break it apart.
Oh,
God. Pop it.
That's thinking.
Here's the big bad handcuffs. We've got to have scary music. blah blah blah. These are actually some.
Scary
These are
music.
Yeah, danger music as
It's a
they call it.
self-release.
And
That little lever on the side is a release lever. You can't.
they these are. That's right. These are novelty cuffs, as you can see the little lever there.
Only, and if I remember correctly, for a really good reason, I think only law enforcement officers are supposed to have operable handcuffs and shackles, and so all of them that are manufactured have to have that little release lever on the side. Otherwise, that's for law enforcement, and they're not for the commercial use.
Yeah, law enforcement or maybe some type of private security that's bonded.
Sure.
But yeah, you're correct.
Sure.
Yep. Oh God, another one of the cabinet. I apologize. Or maybe even another one after this. Now we can see that the phone.
This is where this is where I broke it. Is that Colbert?
Yeah.
This is where I broke it. Where did you break it? Right here.
It's funny.
I mean,
you can see
so
how
ridiculous. Why didn't you just tip it forward and it wouldn't just slide in right to your feet? Because it's alive.
Yeah, and greatly expound upon that. Okay, these are actually keyed cuffs, but I don't think I think these came from the Dassey house. Pretty sure these are keyed. I think that's a key, or maybe I don't know. I'm gonna withdraw.
Yeah.
I'm gonna withdraw that. That could be a button that you push down.
Yeah.
To release it.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a keyhole.
As I remember,
it looks like it's an oblong hole in there for like a slide button.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I withdrew my comment. But I do think that we have. I'm skipping.
I mean, it's an embarrassment to Ken Kratz. Ken Kratz, if you're listening, if you're still out there, it's really embarrassing to be like, they strapped her to the bed with these handcuffs. And then when we check the handcuffs, there's no DNA on it. There's no blood on it. There's no nothing on it. But let's just keep that part of the story going. Right, Ken?
Another peripheral.
Embarrassing. Full stop. Period.
Now I'm gonna stop on the fob, the neck part of the fob. If anybody wants to comment, if not, I'm gonna move on because there's probably more, possibly at least one more. I mean, the only comment that I'm going to make about it, this was allegedly found in the console of the RAV, but there's no photo of it in the console of the RAV.
Oh,
of course, because when you find something, I'm sorry, Kath, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying interesting to that, but also too, don't forget they've got a blue lanyard, the other end that Stephen had a key with 2023 little trinkety logo on it, which would have fitted perfectly to that as well.
Yep. And another photo of the bookcase coming up. Let's skip it. A photo of a book. Skip. Okay, here's another photo of the neck part of the a fob that was allegedly found in the console of the RAV.
Like I was saying, all this evidence that they find, they never find it in situ,
Yep. I'm not sure where they took this. I think this may have been the 22 logs that they found in Stevens, but maybe there's a sticker that, no, there's not. These are more books. And here's another photo coming out of the mini mags of the 22s, I'm pretty sure. I'll zoom in on this one. Yeah. These are the 22.
22 long rifle hollow point. So that's probably the most potent and strongest 22 you can get because, as we've talked about many times before, actually, the hollow point explodes on impact, and that's what it's designed for killing animals, and that's why law enforcement actually uses hollow point, which I wish they didn't.
Yeah,
maybe they don't. I don't think they do. I don't think they do. I'm mistaken. I wish I could edit that part out. Sorry, guys. Let me not get it.
Well, you
my skis.
You retracted it, so you're good. And there's still more photos of basically the same thing. Here's another tighter photo of the novelty cuffs. Oh, wait.
Well, Bethany doesn't think that lanyard matches. I'm sorry, guys.
What,
What were
what's
you
that? What's that, Denny?
I was just saying by the little lever on these ones, it looks like it's a different set of cuffs, in my
It
opinion.
does. It does. But they collected
I think-
several, so
Right.
Is there 2 or 3 sets? Because one of them had a long chain. This might be the 3rd set of cuffs, to be honest.
yeah, I actually think there's more coming.
Well, and I think there's a set that's got the pink fuzzies on them.
That's right.
Well, go back. Yeah, that's right. The pink fuzzy ones. Go back to the next picture, I believe, actually, that you were going to do at the bookcase, because we get a better view of what Denny was talking about. Potentially, could it have been replaced? And if it was, you might be able to tell from here. And you can see where the nail marks are, so you can kind of see that, how it would have been. Can we fingerprint that for Colburn's fingerprints?
It's been handled a lot since then, but I guess potentially, yeah. I mean, they should have been gloved, but and you can see with it.
Where it pulled apart. Yeah.
Yep, been pulled right out or knocked out, whatever.
A pile of little sawdust underneath that. I mean, it's so fresh. In my mind, I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm gonna go with Denny's opinion on this. That looks fresh.
Yeah, and you can definitely see the stain line there.
Yep.
All right. Back to the cuffs. It's the same ones as a minute ago. These are the novelty type cuffs with a little flip thing. And don't forget, folks, when they had interviewed Teresa in September of 2006, they're like, well, did he tie you up? Blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah. And they really thought they had something. She said, but I could always get my hands out. Okay. Another photo, same thing. Okay, here's the pink fuzzies coming up. Yep.
A question for the panel and everyone in chat. While we've just been going through the cabinet, the shaking and the key fell, I just want to see where everyone's head is at now. There's no wrong or right answer because it's all just your own opinion. But where are you all at in terms of the key still? Do you guys, excuse me, are you guys following the direction Kathleen's now going in terms of the fact that she's alleging that Bobby Dassey could have been the one that planted the key and planted Stephen A's DNA on it? Or are you guys all still kind of in the same place where we kind of was introduced to the whole cabinet thing through Making a Murder, and that the whole scenario that Andy Colburn gave us doesn't make sense, and it was most likely one or all of or some of those gentlemen? So law enforcement in a nutshell. Just opinions. I just want to know where everyone's at.
Well, I'll let everybody else go first because I certainly have an opinion on all of what you just said.
Well, I'll jump first. I'm more so the original stuck on, and it's got to be, in my opinion, law enforcement.
Yeah, Kath, you want to go next?
Yeah. I've gone round and round and round for so many years, looking into everyone's background and everything, and I can't seem to come up with anything other than law enforcement now.
I think the dead giveaway for me, and I'm gonna agree with Kath, but I'm gonna tell you why, and that is trying to push the key off on Kacharsky and have him put it on his report. That's the tell that says that they planted it. That's where I'm at with it. And I don't follow AZs. I'm sorry.
I'm just seeing it as a whole. I'm just seeing it as in the depositions, the lawsuit. I think, I just think that's the angle.
It's a really good point, Kath. And
motive,
I want to slip this in here before I forget, and that is oftentimes we focus on the deposition of Kosarik, but only 2 weeks prior were Lenk and Colburn, and Peterson, and Sandra Morris deposed. So the next visit to the Avery salvage yard after those depositions is the time that she goes missing. So another prism to look at this through is Colburn and Link knew that the depositions went poorly. They knew that who was coming next. Okay, I'm just throwing this out here, not really accusing these guys. I'm just saying this is a theory. They were hot under the collar because F and Stephen Avery just had me sit through how many hours of deposition. It's not going well. We need to do something. That's the other prism to look at through.
And Steven's there watching you be questioned.
Yes. And probably laughing and smiling. You know what I mean? And him and Jody.
Yep.
Right.
And about to become the wealthiest man in the county.
Yep. Well,
there's no way on earth that was going to happen. No way.
I think about the interview with the November 9th interview with Bobby and Dettering and whoever the hell the special agent was. I can't remember his name, whoever it was. It doesn't matter. And how they treated him and how they acted towards him. That plays a part in my mind. Despite of what, Bobby's name getting brought up earlier in the investigation. Well, he was on the yard. He's going to be talked about. I'm sorry, he was. He was there when she was there. So there is that connection. At the same time, he's a 19-year-old kid. And yeah, he clearly, I think he's demonstrated that he was a bit more street smart than, well, I don't think really Brian was around that much, but he was definitely the smarter of Blaine and certainly Brendan. But at the same time, I'm sorry, I don't see Bobby being involved. I could be completely wrong here, guys, but I just, from my personal opinion, at least from the standpoint of killing anyone and certainly not planting this key, no, I do not believe that. I believe that this was done by Lincoln, Colburn, and Kucharski was used. Hey, you put that on your report, right? It's just you, You're supposed to be babysitting us, but hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And that's, we can refer back to the trial now and the testimony that was given, and then Kratz basically doing a 180 in his closing with this key. Just set it aside, guys. Come on. We don't need this key. Basically, so what if they helped up? That's a real tell. And what Jeff said, the report, it's a real tell. I don't think Bobby planted that key. Absolutely not. I think law enforcement did it.
Is that good enough, Kel? Do you need more punishment?
No, that's all. Thank you.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, we're at the pink. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
For a second, really quickly. Why then Bobby? Because even if you believe it's law enforcement, pointing the finger at law enforcement is not always the best scenario to do in court law.
It's not.
Not a winning formula.
No, it's really not. You can get all kinds of, backlash. Even if you've got something that may be relatively clear, but it's still not 100% clear. You got to be, it's a slippery slope in this, and I get that aspect from Kathleen. She's I think very well aware of what she faces in that arena. So I don't know if it was a good tactic for her to take. It's certainly a chess move on her part. Right, wrong, or indifferent. It is, we're just gonna have to live with it and see where it goes. All right, back to the photos. Are we good?
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't see it going very far. Unfortunately, I just don't. That's just my opinion.
Well, I mean, the Sawinski call could potentially be a problem. I said potentially. I guess it just all depends on how they look at it, Yeah, it definitely was something that no one had until, early last year. So
when I see this picture, There's one prosecutor in this case that I think of. Can you guess?
Ken?
Bingo. That's what I think of when I see pink fluffy handcuffs. I don't know why I think that. Maybe it's not appropriate. Maybe it is. It's just when I see that. I don't think Jody. I think Ken Kratz probably has a similar thing in his drawer.
If I'm not mistaken, they found Jody's DNA or female DNA on here, and it wasn't Teresa's. So, probably Jody's, right?
I'm sorry. Maybe I got to stop with the beating up on Ken Kratz. It is a little excessive, and I apologize, but
Don't apologize. Don't apologize.
These ones here, Jack, look real.
Let's see. I think these are.
They look real. Look at the chain on them. Nice thick chain.
These may-
There's no one getting out of them ones.
These may be real. Look at the stamp here. These are stamped,
Made in USA.
and it looks like a keyhole for the pen.
Yeah, they're real. I reckon I think they're real.
Yeah, they did find some real cuffs on the in various places on the yard. I don't think we can read that tag. No.
Chuck had badges. He had, and we'll probably get
Yes,
to
I can
it
read
sooner or
that.
later.
Oh, handcuffs.
Wow.
One pair of silver handcuffs or something it says.
That's what I get. That's all I can read on it. It's really terrible photo.
If you tell me the item number, I can look it up. I'll just see if I've got it on hand.
8266, I think. Is that what you guys see?
Yep.
10-4.
Okay.
That was kind of a joke. 10-4. Because you'd be like, no, 8266.
Yeah, this photo is not any better than the last one. I still can't read this upper part. It's really bleached out.
Just want to hit Travis's comment here, kind of, backing up what we had said. And he says Zellner had no choice legally but to go away from law enforcement, just kind of like what we said, and point to someone else as planting. This was when dating the blood was not possible. So for post-conviction, she had to point in different direction. Thank you, Travis. Appreciate that.
Yeah. 8266 did come from Barb Yonda's bedroom, according to Wiegert. He's the one that collected them. Yep. So this is a third or fourth photo of this particular pair of handcuffs. There's another photo. It's more clear. Yeah, these are real. This is the real deal. And that's probably over here on the left side cuff is a maker's mark. I can't read it, but yeah, those are real.
Yeah, I thought they looked real. That chain in
That
between.
stamp on the other side said Smith and Wesson.
There you go.
Sure, I thought it was Kratz and Brothers.
Okay. Here's more, Jeff. Here's some more other pink fuzzy handcuffs.
So this is a second pair of fuzzy handcuffs. These aren't the same ones.
I think it's the same ones. They just took multiple photos. Here we go. License plate.
I recognize that.
Yep.
My original license plate from Wisconsin, SSC 757.
Hey, look at you go.
You see how the ends you can bend forward and then pull off?
Well, yeah. I mean, if it was just screwed in, well, even if it was screwed in all four, if you could get it to rip, if you were just going to tear it out. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen plates torn. No doubt about it. Another more high def or a broader photo with a flash on.
It's more likely that a screwdriver was
You
used.
see the bend lines? So if you grab your hands on either end, pull them forward, you make those exact bend lines where the screws go in, and then you rip it off.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, that doesn't look like rip. That looks like a pressure
No, there
mark
probably
from
wasn't screws at the bottom. Only at the top, I reckon.
That's definitely had a nut in it.
Yeah, that definitely had a nut because you can see the marks on it, right? Like that kind of nut or washer screw kind of thing. So, and I'm gonna see you can see a black mark around that circle there, Jack. That looks like a kind of a
Nut,
a
some
dirt
kind.
mark, a dirt mark,
Yeah.
right? Where
Yeah.
dirt has. So I'm saying this with 99% confidence. You need a screwdriver to take these license plates off. Mic drop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but one of the screws is still stuck in there, so it's probably more than likely been ripped off.
There's that potential. There's that potential.
We need to have a look at the back of the car again, because I think, if I remember rightly, I don't think that the bottom of where the plates go looked like it had the screws matched up for some reason. Something about that.
I always thought there was a thing about these plates were used on a prior car that she's transferred over as well. That's why you have the four
The 4 holes, yeah.
holes, but she only utilized the 2 up the top for this when she took it to the RAV. That's how I kind of
We'd have to go and look, but do they all come standard with 4 holes? I'm kind of feeling they do. I'd have
They
to go
do.
look at a Wisconsin plate.
Yeah, they do. I think plates even now come with standard 4 holes, and so you can put 4
So if you
nuts
have
in.
one or
Yeah,
two,
Yep.
you can do either way. Then you're depending on the model of your car. You have more options if they. Yeah, I think. Hey, James.
you want me to pull up? Hey, Jinxie.
Yeah,
you want me
I
to pull
think
up the
that
back of the car again?
Well, Travis wants us to zoom in on those screw holes one time, as long as we're sitting here on this picture.
Oh, okay,
If you
sure.
want- Yeah.
I found a
In the
picture, Jack, of the front of the RAV in its resting place, and it really does only look like there's 2 top holes. Do you want me to send you that picture, or have you got one on hand?
Yeah, I've probably got it, but send it to me. Make it
Okay.
easier.
All right.
Okay, this is the left top. And then I'll scroll back and go to the, I didn't mean to do that, but okay.
Wait, are you saying
This
rear
is-
plate you want? Is this the rear plate or the front plate? Do we know?
I don't know.
This is the front plate.
Okay. I think Travis wanted to see the rear plate.
That should be
have it.
back one picture, Jack, or maybe one more.
Let's see. Yeah, there's no tag on this one, so it's probably back another one. Yeah,
That's the rear.
yeah, I've got it.
That's
Here's
The
a,
06 in the
Thanks, Jake.
September.
Thanks, Jinx and Denny and everybody.
this has been written on down here. I can't read what that says down here. Something about 615, 61306. Can't read that. This photo here is not that great. It's a little blurred. Not as clear as that other one. Okay, then the left top, again, it's at the bend line again. But, to me, it looks like a nut. I mean, I guess somebody could have pulled it around, but I'm not really seeing it, but it's possible, I guess. Depending on how much of that screw head.
Like, what would be easier for you? Like, I know you're in a hurry, but find a screwdriver and do it that way, or try to rip it off. I would be scared to cut my hands ripping it off. I'm sorry, I just would.
Oh, don't be a baby, Jeff. Like, you've just killed someone and you've put it in their car. Like, who's got screwdrivers and stuff in their back pocket? You just rip them off. I reckon it's only got 2 screws in the top anyway. Show that photo, Jack.
A
Prove
bridge
my
too
point.
far. I'm sorry, it's a bridge too far. I'm with Kel on this one. I think that the screwdriver is the
Well,
culprit.
how did they break it off in there then? Why is it still stuck in there?
If you go back to that picture, like, is that definitive that we saw the screw? It looked like it from the angle, and I was going to bring that up when you said it. Like, maybe
Yes,
it's just
it's
the angle of the
definitive.
photo. It's not. It might not be definitive, and just because
Trying
it's
to
a broken
take it off, the head of the screw sheared off from the rest of the
Yeah,
screw.
it could have just popped off when they did it. It doesn't. It doesn't mean that
Screwdriver
they
heads
ripped.
don't just pop off. It's been
Yeah,
ripped
they-
off and it's been stuck in there.
They do. I've had it
Well-
happen to me quite a bit, not on a license plate, but when you've just screws that have been out in rusty conditions and out, and sometimes they just pop off. Denny might be able to back me up on that. Somebody back me up, help me. I'm drowning.
Sorry,
No
you
one
caught-
back him
you
up.
caught
No
me
one
mid
back him up.
mouthful. Yeah, I've replaced license plates
There we
before
go.
where they're rusted in, especially in Wisconsin here, where you have all that nice road salt and everything. they rust on, and in the process of trying to take them off, you end up spinning the head of the screw off, and then you're left with the shaft of the screw rusted in the hole.
Share that one, Joe.
Yep. Look, and zoom in. One.
It's just two screw holes.
So yep,
Doesn't look
screw
like
holes at
too
the
low.
top. So where are the bottom ones going in?
There aren't.
They're not.
There's just
Exactly. So it's
exactly
not
what?
hard to rip off.
Oh, it's hard. It's easier to rip off because it's I'll give you that one. Absolutely.
Yay.
Absolutely.
One to me. No, I don't know
Top-
what happened.
top pro
That's
award
that's
for
just
you.
that's just a guesstimate, I think, of
You know,
why that was bent up as well.
But if you
Because,
look
you're
at
going to have to pull them in and then rip it. So the course the ends are going to bend into where the screws are, because that's just the way gravity goes. And then yanked it, and one doesn't look like it's stuck in there, but it is a bit blurry.
It was actually on the back. The one that Google photo that I had up.
Oh,
It was on the
okay.
back. It was on the back. I can probably pull it up. I don't know if it'll let me do it from here. It probably won't, but I can try.
So only two screws in at the front. We need to get a picture of the back of the car and see if there's only two at the back. I'm guessing there probably is. Kelly might be right. She may have transferred the plates over, and therefore they don't fit the Toyota properly. So it's only two screws going in. I've had
Well, like we
cars
were
like that
saying
in the
before,
past.
Kath, the plates in Wisconsin come with 4 holes. So it's
Oh yes,
designed
I
that way.
think they do all around the world. Oh, except for
Sure,
the later
well,
models, they sort of slide into some sort of fancy clear plastic plate.
Yeah, they would have a different system, but
Okay, so hang on a minute. So that
Only two
that
uppers,
screw's
just like in the
definitely in
front.
there, in my
Right.
opinion.
same as the
But-
front. You know, it's a weird
But
little
still
indentation
only
in there. isn't it?
two screw holes.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to throw this monkey wrench at you. So, you can buy a plate holder that you screw your plate into, and then you take the plate holder and you screw it onto your car. You follow what I'm saying? So the plate holder has 4 screws in it, but these only have 2 holes on the car itself. Interesting.
That's logic.
Mm-hmm.
That's logic. That follows. That could be a possibility. We don't actually have a picture of her Rev that I know of with the license plate on it
Nope.
before. I mean, we have one picture, two partial pictures of the Rev, one with Jenny Pitson, one taken by what's his name?
Tom
The photographer.
Pierce.
Tom Pierce.
Tom Pierce. Yeah.
And neither one of
But
those
it's a side
photos-
shot,
Yeah.
right? It's a side shot. So my guess is, Kath, that she's got a plate holder itself, and that could have been.
Can you zoom in on that? 'Cause that's what we were coming back to look at to see. Is it possible that we're just seeing? No, that's plugged, man. That is. You guys tell me. I think that you're right. It is plugged. It's not, a lighting.
Yeah, I don't think we're seeing through the back. It's a lighting in the back. I don't think.
No,
We need
that's
some
definitely a broken
Nut,
in our-
screw. Yep, that's what I think too.
That's more
I
likely to
agree.
happen with a screwdriver.
To get them out of that little frame that they're sitting in. Like they would have definitely been bent up trying to get them out of that.
That's as tight as I can go right there, and that looks like it's broke.
Yeah.
Those bend
For sure.
marks are for folding when someone folded them up so they could move around, and put it in your coat, right? That's what I have always assumed that those fold marks were for. So
I did at one stage, and then I just created the story of they've been ripped off. I'm
Okay.
stuck with that one.
Okay, I mean, you can have that. I'll give you it. It doesn't matter.
Well, okay, if she had a plate holder on the front and
Opinion
on
is.
the front and back of her car, and somebody was, like you said, was in a hurry, you just killed someone, you just jerk it off the fucking car, pardon my language,
Yeah.
and this bolt gets broke at the back off the plate holder.
It's like this person's very, very busy. They haven't got time to be sitting there unscrewing things. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like they're
I
just
do.
ripping them off, bending them up, chucking them.
Travis wants to
That's
say
it.
go back to the bottom holes to see if they have been screwed, if there was ever any screws in there, right? And there is
Okay,
no bottom hole.
let me
Oh,
let me
hang
get
on,
back
wait.
to yeah,
Go
yeah.
back to
Hold on,
the
let me
Yeah.
let me get back to the play here. Okay, let me stop sharing this because I'll have to go back to my photos.
Thanks, Bethany. She says, I have a plate frame and still can only use the 2 bolts or screws, right? Thank you, Bethany. Rumor has it, only one winter in Wisconsin would cause rusting if not washed regularly. I think that's a pretty good point. Those salt on those roads are a killer.
Very harsh.
Very harsh on cars.
Okay. Right, let me share this. We'll get back to the photos in the folder window. There we go. That pop in there. Jeff gets clicking.
The bottom left
Oh, yeah.
one doesn't look like it's ever been touched.
No, but the bottom right one looks like there was
There was
something
a
in
washer
there.
on there.
Yep.
But is
Yeah,
that
but maybe
old?
from a previous vehicle.
Right. Which is, I think,
Maybe.
Well, now we need to know what her previous vehicle was and go check into if that has 4 holes or 2 lower holes. Oh Jesus! Now you've opened a rabbit
Well,
hole.
the biggest tell is the front one, the front plate.
Maybe it fit the
Go with
other row,
that.
the second row.
Ah, you know, if you go with Bethany's comment here, and it could explain the bloody handprints. So, if Calf's theory holds, and the killer or framer ripped off the plates and they cut themselves, and then they got a bloody on the rev, it does fit. I mean, you can't deny that.
Not implausible. It's not.
But it's only a
But that-
partial, it's only a partial sample.
Yeah, because we wouldn't want Sherry to have to retest anything. Come on.
No.
Correct. That's
So
how she
definitely
does
2 holes at the top, and the bottom left had something there because there's definitely a washer. Could have been from a previous vehicle. We just don't know. And then, and this one has something that's definitely disturbed the paint. But hell, for all I know, that could have been where it was ripped out. Right? That hole could be. I mean, it doesn't. It's definitely deformed a little bit. I mean, to me, in this
All right.
photo, this looks elongated.
It does. Yeah, give it to you a little bit that it does look. But you have to remember that the prisoners are the ones making our license plates in Wisconsin. So
You're funny. Okay, we good? Is there any more?
Yeah, I think I'm good on this.
Only 2 screws went into her car. That's the point I was trying to make, and also to the fact that where the bend is exactly where the screws are. So it makes sense that they've pulled the sides in and ripped it where the screws are.
And then took it out of the plate holder and folded it up.
Yep.
I can't disagree with your theory.
Who made those creases trying to get it off?
Another possibility.
I feel like I need to go to a car yard and try it.
Just take your own off, but you're gonna need a screwdriver to get it off. I guarantee you, Calf.
Oh,
Yeah,
bullshit.
I'm
I'm going to give it a go.
No, I'm gonna
Moving
challenge
on.
you. I don't think I could. Honestly, I'm not trying to just win an argument or whatever, but if you asked me to do it, even if I had gloves, I think it would take me a lot of back
All right,
and
I'm
forth
going to give you an
to the point-
example. I'm going
We're
to give you
gonna
an
have to test
example. I went food shopping. I came
Uh-huh.
out. I hadn't realized someone had stolen my plate off the front of my car, ripped it off with their bare hands, didn't have
Oh
a
my
screw.
God.
Then my husband went down to put petrol in my car and they wouldn't serve him. They started talking over the speaker because they thought he was trying to steal petrol because there was no front plate on the car.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I
Well,
didn't
see,
even
proven
know.
wrong.
And it had just been
And they
ripped
just
out,
ripped it
ripped
off?
off. Yeah, they
Jeez.
ripped it off. No
Do
screwdriver.
you have a 1999 RAV4 by chance?
No, it was a 2008 Toyota Corolla at the time. I've since got
Still
a
a
new
Toyota.
one.
I was just joking.
Still a-
The model doesn't really matter.
There
But
were
that's a
Toyotas
really
in
good
there.
point.
Did that help?
I would have never thought you could do it. I don't think I could do it, man. I'm just saying, but proven
Well,
wrong.
it's-
Anybody re-
It looks rusty. I just don't think it'd be that hard. I need to try it. I'm going to give it a go.
Garage.
Anyone-
Stay tuned.
Garage.
Garage.
Stephen
of
Avery.
Steve Avery.
Garage of Steve Avery.
But can you read what it is?
Garage.
Garage 12932 Avery.
Yeah,
Steyer.
it's taken by Steyer. Yep.
Number 19 bullet fragment.
Bullet fragment.
Number 19. I thought they only collected like 11. What the hell? What?
Number 19.
That's-
Bullet fragment.
That's what I was wanting you to get to. I thought they only collected 10 or 11. What are we doing with number 19? Interesting.
Guess we didn't need it for the case, and it disappeared. There says FL right there. Look at how many
does
people
say it.
have transferred.
It
Look at
does
all
say
those transfers.
it does say number an item number FL. What the?
Is number 19, would that have been the little yellow flaggy that they marked it with? You
Oh, I
know,
see
the
a bullet.
little yellow
Yeah, I
TP.
thought I saw an actual like forensic piece right there on the top. Can you scroll up just a little bit? I thought there was yeah, isn't that it? No. Yeah, that's the bullet right there.
Yeah.
But is
Really
that
blurry.
FL or
Yeah, it's FL. That is item FL. Now that is the
Mark?
if I'm not mistaken, this was the DOJ or DCI, whatever, the crime labs. That was their numeration. Yep.
Okay, so
Item
you
F.
have 52506, you have 32806, another 32806, 31606, 5106, and 5106. When these
Interesting.
transfers are taking place. Who is that? FPL? I don't know if that's FP or whose initials do we think that is? Sure, it's not Shuri Colhane. Who knows? Who's handing it off to who? I mean, Fassbender, Wiegert had to have had possession of it at once. They gave it to someone. Then they sent it to the FBI, right? Where did this piece?
Well, it actually went to the crime lab. Then he got handed off to Newhouse, which he's the ballistics expert. But I think he's state, not FBI. I don't know that item FL ever went. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think I misspoke.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Item
Yeah, what's
number 9. Well, number 19 bullet. I mean, come on.
I think
Okay,
number
I'm gonna
19's the yellow tent when they did the picture on scene.
could have been. Yep, could have been. Yep. I think this is maybe another photo of it.
Well, that's a good question. Case 10 said, I thought FL wasn't found until March 1st. And isn't there a February 28th on that? I guess you got to go back. Sorry, Jack.
Okay.
Did they see a February 28th? No,
I
see
do
a
not.
3/28.
Nope,
That's a March
328.
28th. Yeah, March. But
Nope.
you got to double check.
That's yeah. All right. I'm not sure which gun this is.
Travis is backing you up and saying that's tent 19.
There you go. Answers that question. I'm not sure if this is is this the muzzle loader?
That's the muzzle loader. Because
Yeah,
it
that's
looks
the,
like-
what was it, the 50 cal?
Yeah.
Jesus, 50 cal?
I think
Yeah.
that's what it's labeled as.
Yeah. It'd blow your head off, man.
Is that what they
Elephant
usually
gun.
are?
These are 1985 case samples. Look at number 4, blood standard, Stephen Avery.
Blood
Just saying.
standard.
Yep.
Just saying.
Yeah.
He does.
Just
Say, I
pointing
mean,
that-
he says it. You know how much blood they got out of me?
Yep. That's right. And we got even a better photo of it.
Come on. We don't even know you. That's what my tell was for Wiegert and Fassbender when they say to Steven, 2 guys? We don't even know you. What do we have against you? Why would we set
Yeah.
you up? That's the tell.
5 days.
That's how I know that they know he's innocent at that point. They know that he's innocent at that point, and that's the poker tell in my mind.
5 days
Why
to
would
clean
they-
up, but
Two
there's
guys
no
don't tell
evidence.
you. Why would they
Right.
set you up? You know, it's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's like because they know in the back of their mind he's thinking the cops set me up. Cops set me up. I mean, we're cops, but why would we set you up? We have no
Yeah.
motive. Which is basically
And-
telling him we're setting you up, and you just can't prove it, right? Yeah.
And I promise this photo here, this is not me blurring it. This is how it is. This is the photo that was received. What do we got here? This is probably again from the 85 case. I'm betting 614 or 61902, 1225. Open per, I can't read that. You guys are going to have to read it. I can't read it.
What do we
Did
got?
you read-
Opened per your HHH maturation by
Somebody.
J Fiddle. Is there a fiddle? Closed.
There's
Closed.
there's Riddle.
Closed. I don't know. Closed 619 contains Stephen S. Avery. Whole. Oh, what was it? I think it said blood. Whole something contains Stephen
All right,
Avery whole.
Sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing.
Whole blood sample. Yep. Whole blood sample. And Jinx just asked, was that a second vial? A second vial?
That looks like instructed by.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a whole blood vial or not.
I mean,
This could be-
that's what it says, whole.
Oh, is this the box? I bet this is the box. Yeah, okay.
Styrofoam container in it.
This
We're
is
getting
the
to
one
that
was
right now.
Featured in Ma'am.
Yep. You know, I spent so much time looking at this damn box, I completely ignored that writing on it. And
I
this
like how
is
they
inside the
took
clerk.
these pictures, because this is where they kept Stephen's blood, right in this little corridor area, right near the
That's
clerk's
right.
office. Just
That's
sitting
right. In a
So,
big box.
Don't give me no bullshit. Don't give me no bullshit. Okay. Right
Who-
next to this
who's
girl
that?
where she's working. Yeah, she's
Who's that?
Stephen Avery's blood. Don't know.
I don't know who that is. I don't recognize the face at all. And this is the door, I guess, going into the clerk's office. You got to have the master or the key and the coded door.
Is this the door that they couldn't get through that one time? That they're all know that door's locked. We can't get in there. Or was that? Oh, that was in a different section of the jail for the lab, I think, where they had the raft restricted area for records. But we don't put
Yep.
Stephen Avery's records back there. We put his out in the hallway.
Yeah, this is in the clerk's office. It's fine. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah.
That's the
We don't need
Evidence
to file that away.
log.
You might need it. You might need it at any moment.
and back to the box again. I think there's actually quite a few of these. Zipping through them relatively quick because there's
Getting a couple
basically the same.
questions about the envelope, Jack. I guess did we cruise
Scotch
past like
tape.
20 pictures ago? We were looking at it. That's the box. The vial was in one box, one vial. Right? Was that an envelope?
No, I think that's just the writing. I think that's the writing that's on top of this box. That's why I'm saying it. I never paid any attention to it. Now, I can zip back and show it again if you want. It's up to you guys.
I mean,
Yes,
just give it a
please.
quick, just satisfy everybody, I guess. Go back. Jinx says.
Here we go. Here it is right here. You can see it. It'll pop up there in a second. There it is. Let's zoom
Wasn't
in a
the
little bit.
envelope the one that had the 4 things written on it, though?
You're talking about that, right?
Fingernail
Closed
scrapings
victim's
and
blood.
Oh, no,
Closed
that was a.
victim's blood and
yeah.
pubic hair and nail clippings.
Okay, that's a separate thing.
Back further, she says.
Yeah. Right here. Here we go. This is a zoom in from the envelope, which is the photo before this one.
Is this what you guys were looking for? Just if this satisfies you, let us know. Jinx, is this what you?
So is that box supposed to be inside this envelope?
I don't think so. No,
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think this is a separate. I know what you're saying, but
so this envelope's containing
Separate.
the first 3 items.
Is
Yeah.
that yeah. Okay. This is what you were. So that notation is on the outside of this package. Inside is that white box.
well, it must be because it says blood standard Stephen Avery. So there must be other. Yeah, there's other things that are these 1, 2, and 3 are separate.
Mm-hmm.
including Penny B's 1985. It says standard of victim's blood.
That's correct.
Her fingernail scrapings,
Correct. That's right.
his pubic hair, and his blood. Okay.
I think the pubic hair. Well, yeah, that's probably.
That's what
You know
they
what? I'm
collected
not-
from Penny.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think this is what they collected from Penny and yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't.
That makes sense.
The net. Yeah,
Not his pubic hair, the pubic hair collected from the crime. Gotcha.
Along
So
with
it's
Correct.
Gregory Allen.
things.
Gregory Allen's pubic hair. We know it.
correct. All right. Everybody good? And I'm going to zip back forward. Please excuse the zipping.
Away. Zip away.
Okay. I think this is about where we're at. I think of these photos that I don't know if we can see it here, if the detail is fine enough, but this is a pretty clear photo. This is they made a pretty big deal, and it kind of is a big deal. It was sealed up with Scotch tape, instead of handled the way it should have been handled. Do it right. If you're going to do it right.
You would think that the Justice Department and the prosecution and people who hold evidence in Wisconsin would have more efficiency in their evidence collection and box methods than a 4th grader. Just
You would think.
a little Scotch
think.
tape for a fourth grade history assignment. I think you might take a little more care than that. But
Well, with somebody's blood or evidence or biological evidence, I would hope that they would. I don't care who the person is.
this is the question. Good. Travis says, wait, was the box inside that envelope? And that's what I thought. That was my first
Yes.
impression.
Yes.
Coming in order. Okay, yes. So apparently,
I think-
what was the
There should have been the box and then probably 3 other items within that envelope.
Yeah. And I guess the bigger problem for me is I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily a problem because it's in a separate box, but at least 3 of those items were from 1985, right? So, if we're talking about, fingernail scraping from Penny, pubic hair combing from Penny, and a blood standard from Penny. And then we know this blood standard was in 1995, I think, or 96. If this is the purple top, it is the purple top.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think that it would be in a separate unit or separate package separately. I don't know. Maybe for, save on not having another envelope that had to be, mailed and so forth. They just crammed it all in the same thing. I mean, I guess that's okay. Okay. If there's any other, do you want me to go back or anything, guys? I mean, I'm glad to do it if you want me to go back to that other one. If there's, if we give a question on clarity about this box here being in with the other stuff. Do I need to go back?
No.
Okay. Just want to make sure Travis had a question. So, blurry photo, a little bit better photo. Again, Scotch tape. And then the box itself, I think there's a number of photos of the box once they got it out, the styrofoam. and again sealed with, Scotch tape. Okay, and then more the same. And then we're finally to the blood vial itself.
I wonder who's
can read a little bit.
That, written on that vial. Wonder who wrote that out.
Really not much you can tell from. You can tell a little bit from this blood vial. There's, you can see some.
Where it gets caught in the tube. I've heard Kel talk about this before, and if you want,
yeah,
is this because it's got stuck in there, like blood has got stuck in between the top, or? I'm
gonna let you guys talk about it, and I need to step away for just a minute. You guys talk, but I'll be back.
Well, to be honest with you, the only time I've ever seen that happen in a vial is when the lid has come off and air has gotten in, and then when you put the lid back in, it kind of draws that air bubble, and eventually it kind of gets like some of that liquid gets stuck underneath. I've never seen, but in saying that, in a fair comparison, I've never seen a 10-year-old vial and what it looks like at the end either. So it's a little bit hard. But again, what I have seen, this never has happened ever.
It's crazy how you just described that to me. I don't know if you guys also felt that way, but you took the top off and put the top back on, and that's how you get that. Well, that sounds like tampering, because Cal, correct me if I'm wrong, when a technician would take a sample from this, don't they just go right through the top? They don't actually take the top off? How's the process work?
No, so the process can work where they actually do take off the lid. In a lab, they will take off, and then they can get a syringe and then draw out the quantity that they need, and then they can run it.
So that's not going to tell us anything.
So it really doesn't. It could have been, the lid could have come off in a lab for testing. It doesn't, it's not definitive of either way. And isn't that the situation in this whole case? Is nothing's definitive. It's neither there or here. It's always that gray area.
I agree with that. And while we wait for Jack to return, this is we'll throw up that comment that Travis just made. He says I'm sorry, I don't think that was the one that I wanted. Buting was physically present for all of these photos, and I think that's an important thing to remember. That there was an advocate for Stephen on when these were taken, and so it's just something to remember. Jack, are you back with us? I think I saw your mouse.
I am back.
All right, excellent.
So what Kel was talking. What Kel was talking about is exactly as I remember reading. There's some correspondence with I want to say it's LabCorp. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kel, or whoever may remember, that they did say definitively when they do a sample of a blood, they do pop the top and draw it straight out. They don't go through the purple top and draw it out. But of course, once you pop the top on it, you lose your vacuum on your vacuitainer. But that's just the way it is.
And then you're adding air into it, which then adds different kind of components into the whole the vial. But I'll be honest with you, when I have my vial, you've all seen that I have brought it out because I've done experiments. And I will be honest that I didn't find that taking the lid off and on affected the blood in any way. It always maintained liquid form. There was no coagulation. It didn't age. As long as the blood stayed in the vial, it was always liquefied.
Yeah. So I'll move forward to this. This is kind of a blurry one, but you can see the hole. It was featured prominently on Making a Murderer, but I'm sure there's more. That one's another blurry one. I apologize, but another blurry photo. Here's a little better photo, but it's just laying on the side. Here we go. This might tell us a little something, and it gives us a little bit better view of this dried amount up here at the top. At some point, I guess, I don't know. Cal could probably again speak better to this, but we see this line here from where the blood is, it looks like, and this blood line here. That's definitely dried. So is that a quantity that's been removed? I'm guessing, for testing.
I was actually just going to say, it almost looks overfilled. That vial looks rather, quite heavy in terms of there's a lot of blood in there. We do fill up our vials, but that almost looks like an overflow, like it's a little bit more. And I know it's a lot harder to really, make it out one way or the other, especially when it's laying on its side, because, obviously the fluid is, the blood is, laying down. But I don't know, to me, when I've had my vial, when I filled up my vial, it never looked that full. Even when it was laying down, it always had that, you could see like a little bit of an air bubbles in them.
Right.
That kind of sat there as well, especially on the side. So it's a very interesting, but you can definitely see when you go up, if you go up to the very top of the ring, I don't know if it's, sorry, apology if this is what you're talking about. Yeah, that's definitely come off, because that's a crustation. And that's what I actually had in one of my videos. I think we played it on Jeff Jones's channel, the blood experiment video, when I walked you guys through, and I had that exact same crustation of blood on my rim of my vial. And you see in the video, and I didn't realize it when I was doing it, but as I popped the lid off, it crumbled. It just flaked on my white bathroom sink. It wasn't an excessive amount, but it was enough it was actually a Big Jeff who watched the video when I was showing him. This was off air, and was pointing it out to me, going, "Oh my God, did you just see that? Go back and look what you caught that you didn't even realize you caught." And then I realized when I went back, it was the flakes sitting there.
Crazy. I'm trying to see if I can see an exact date, but I don't know that we have that. I just don't remember. 122. That might be, I don't know if that's his number or prisoner number or what, but it must have been. Anyway, I want to move forward. Yeah, that's blurry. God, why'd they even bother? And that was another of the same thing. Another angle. Another one of the box. Yeah, I knew there was a bunch of photos in here. 12/14/06.
That's Uyghur taping it back closed after photoing.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you. That's right. Got his initials up there too. MW. In case anybody missed that. And again, this is a photo of the outside of that envelope. Remember, with that note on it that we saw earlier. And clearly there's nothing in it now. But you see, and they don't have this one dated. That's what I was trying to. Above items returned from Roche Biomedical Laboratories on June 6, 1996. There you go. All right, moving forward. Okay, I don't know what this is. Open per FHH direction on 6/1902 by EJ something DA. Somebody, go ahead.
I'm just reading the next line. Removed plastic envelope containing one printed envelope marked. Next line. fingernail scrapings collected from, and I think that's
Right.
the outer envelope. So this envelope, and then inside this one was that plastic envelope.
Yep.
And then that's the
Yep.
number too, and all the documentation. And there's that Uyghur too. No, I don't know who that is on the bottom. Placed whole blood sample 85 and the numbers. Envelope recorded. Yeah. So this is the outer envelope, and then inside it was the plastic one.
Yep.
Excellent.
All right, moving on. This is another photo of that same envelope. Okay, here's a photo. We'll be getting to a few photos of the RAV4 where they've taken the seats apart.
Don't see anything interesting here. Zoom in. See any blood spots or any
No,
thing that's
no,
supposed to be there?
I think this is Kel, isn't this where Culhane took a clipping of the
Yes, and that is what Kathleen ended up using to
do the blood
do the
aging?
methylation testing. Yep.
Yeah. And nothing, I don't think any else interesting about that. Bottom of the seat. I've looked at these, but they're pretty dark, but I never have seen really anything at all on the bottom of these. Nothing. Another one of a top. This must be the other seat. Because there's no cutting on this one. Oh, no, maybe it is the same seat.
I think this is the driver's side.
Yep. And that's where she did the clipping at. Other than that, it just looks like a seat that's come out of a car that's got a little bit of wear and tear, typical normal stuff. You get into your seat, depending on which side you just kind of destroy that little, whatever the hell you call it, that is on the seam. Typical. We got some,
a lot of jeans with rivets in it, right?
yeah. And here's some
Joking.
carpet. I know you are. Carpet that's come out from wherever. I don't know exactly where this came from, but definitely some things that I don't know if I don't think they cut anything out of this. I think this is just where stuff goes. Is that right? Does that sound right?
I'm almost wondering if this was carpet from under the seat.
And stuff actually fits over.
Like the one that you're looking at right there, your seatbelt buckle would slip through where it's bolted to the... Yeah.
Yep, I tend to agree with that. Okay, moving forward. Looks like the lining, this is the insulation that's below the carpet. I'm going to zoom in on that.
The mysterious Band-Aid.
Yeah, what's that orange?
This is...
Is that part of the car? Can you go up just a little bit? What's that?
It looks like a pen or a pencil that's been dropped in there and lodged. This is the floor jack. This is the car jack. And if I'm remembering properly, this is underneath the passenger side seat. Is where this is stowed. Almost positive.
Is that orange thing a screwdriver?
It looks metal.
Could be. I guess a smaller one.
Could be a
could be a
lighter.
damn ice. Could be an ice pick.
Be an ice pick. Could be.
You could definitely kill someone with a damn ice pick. I mean, you can just ram them full of holes and they're done. It's like a shiv.
Real quick.
Oh yeah.
Jeez, that's a bit graphic.
I know. Sorry.
I feel like I've just watched Basic Instinct again.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever really paid attention to that. Whatever the hell that is up there. I don't know what it is.
My first instinct is golf pencil, but she's not a golfer, so it's not it.
No, it looks steel.
That's where all my golf pencils end up, right between the seats.
And see, here's the here's the car jack, and this is where they've taken the cushion off, and that's
I don't
where it's
know
stowed at.
if it was Denny and I, or a while ago, Calf and I were always talking about the straw that was found in her car. And there's some more
Yeah.
examples of straw, which is such
Yeah.
a strange thing. It really makes me wonder if she wasn't in a field, driving through a field, or if whoever, but to have straw way up under the seats means this has happened a while ago. And
Her
it's
parents
but we
have got a
find it all
dairy
over.
farm.
That's true. It is true. I mean, but you kind of have to walk through straw to track straw into your car. You know what I mean? So anyway, it's just something that I always found interesting. Like, where does all this straw coming from that I'm seeing in the car, right?
Yeah.
Like a Halloween party kind of thing is what I'm thinking. You go out and you party in the field, right? You drive out in the middle of the field. You used to have huge parties, right? And you go out, drive in the field, party.
Yep.
But that's how you get 4 people in the car. Everybody gets in, and that just it tracks everywhere. So some more rub.
What's that?
What is
Not
that?
the
Red?
Band-Aid next to that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Some food.
I was actually fixing to go forward, and I thought, well, what the hell's that? I don't know if that's something to do with the bottom of the jack, or what, because the jack is in kind of that same. No, it wouldn't. It's not that. No, I'm sorry. Sorry
That's
for
so
suggesting
weird.
that. I don't know what that is.
It's hard to tell, Jack. I'm right there with you.
No
I
idea.
don't know what the
It looks
colorful
like a
things
pencil
are.
sharpener or something.
Yeah, something's not right.
And is the driver's side with the seat cushion
Here's the
removed? I
question.
don't think there's.
Did they ever?
Yep.
And I know they didn't. I know the answer. Did they ever think to even dust or check that lever to move the seat? Because if Teresa was short and if the killer was taller, they had to move that seat back, and you got to touch it. So why didn't they check that? But they checked the hood. Do you know what I mean? They checked under the hood, but they didn't check the obvious places under the door handle and under here where you would have to move the seat.
Rear view mirror. Rear view mirror.
Right.
Yep.
Totally.
Absolutely.
But they
Yep,
weren't
I tend
interested
to-
in that because it wasn't
Oh, no.
included in the fake confession,
That's
Oh,
right.
they just went straight to where they knew that they'd find evidence.
I'm not sure why we've got this. Looks like, is that gloves, or I don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah, they're gloves.
Not sure where they took that photo. Okay, here we go. Brendan's jeans. That should spark some conversation.
Well, there's nothing really nefarious there, is there? Some bleach on them. Every second pair of pants I own look like that.
Well, if they were using, if they're using bleach and it's splattered, or even, I won't say necessarily gas, but certainly bleach. If you're pouring, it's definitely could slosh. I'm more concerned, but there's not a whole bunch of problems down here of bleaching the bottom of his pants, but there's clearly not. The shoes I have a problem with too, as I've bitched about before, but
The thing about the jeans is they don't make logical sense to me, in the sense that if the state want to allege that Stephen Avery was starting to burn all the evidence, why would you try to savor these? Why would you just try to use bleach? Why would you not go to Brendan, take them off now and throw them in the fire? Wrap yourself
That's
up in a
right.
towel, don't give a shit. Just get rid of them.
and I need your shoes too, by the way. Give me your shoes.
Because in the original interview with Steven, they asked him, do you remember what you were wearing that day? And he goes, oh gosh, you know what? I think they're in the dryer at home, those clothes. Well, they didn't go to track
Right.
down those clothes, did they? They didn't go, oh, we want to track down what you were wearing because we want to test it. No. Why? Because they knew it wasn't going to be worth anything. Another tell, in my mind. Otherwise, why
Back
did
of
they
it.
collect
I agree. They should have.
his clothes? I mean, that just seems obvious. Or of them be like, oh, he can't find it. Why can't you find it, Steven? Where is that shirt that you said you were wearing? Did you burn it? Right? Then they'd have him in a lie. But because they knew it was not a fruitful exercise. More tells.
Agreed. That last one was the back of Brennan's jeans, but it's irrelevant. Now, there is a, and I don't know if it's this photo, and I don't want to spend a lot of time searching, but there's one of these nighttime photos. There's a pair of glasses that are found.
Well, yeah, that's right. I've seen these glasses.
Yeah. I guess it's not that about it.
On the salvage yard?
There's something here, whatever the hell that is.
It's the glasses right by the end of the flag. Take the flag all the way down to the ground.
Yep. At the base of the flag, there they are.
There they are right there. Good catch. Whose the hell glasses were those? I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I know that they get all kinds of these cars in, and they probably have everything in the world in them. Shit you don't want to touch with a hazmat suit on.
Well, I know one thing, that if you wanted to find my DNA, you could check under the nose pads of my glasses. I can guarantee you would find my DNA there. So
mine too. I wear glasses too. Same thing.
It's not that hard to check to find out whose glasses these are.
Another shot of the glasses.
It's
also
they're kind of crumpled up. I mean, they're crumpled up. Let's be honest. They're not just dropped. The lenses are nowhere to be seen. So how long could these have been laying there? Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, it could be there for years.
Well, at least for a little while. I mean, it's laying on this grass, on that grass.
Not underneath.
So right. I doubt for very long, personally, but
can you go from the glasses? Can you go down at, let's see here, 4 o'clock? And zoom right where your mouse is. Yeah, there's a little shiny little piece right over there. Maybe nothing. Just a caught of the eye. I guess it's nothing. I thought I saw something, but
maybe where that's the flash is reflecting off this wet grass. Yeah.
That's what I thought. It looked metallic, maybe, so I just wanted to.
Gotcha. Another one of the glasses. Same shit. Somebody did bend the hell out of them.
Somebody chewed on the back of the. That's a really common thing to do. Chew on the back.
Sure.
But we know that bite evidence is bullshit. I mean,
indeed.
The other thing is, it's like, well, did Teresa wear glasses? No. Well, then, I mean, how relevant could it be, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if she wore glasses, then it'd be like, whoa, maybe they're her spare glasses. Maybe there was part of the struggle. Maybe it was. But if she didn't wear glasses, it's hard to.
It's irrelevant.
Exactly. And there's another chunk of it that has been under earth, that has been there a while.
That's right. It's got dirt over the top of it.
So we can say with a pretty certainty, unless it was planted very, very slick like that. Okay, I'm going to plant this by recreating soil on top of it. I doubt that this has any connection.
No. Completely irrelevant, in my opinion.
Shandy, you bring up a good point, and as we've been looking through these photos, Jack and I have been saying to each other, and I've been saying to everyone here in the panel as well, that why are they taking all these pictures of things that don't matter and none of the pictures of things that do matter? You got 1,000 pictures of these, not 1,000. You got 20 pictures of these glasses, and no in situ pictures of the important stuff, right? And the
glasses they're completely irrelevant.
Exactly, completely irrelevant, right? How many piles of nonsense did we go through in the quarry? Completely irrelevant.
Oh my God!
But they took 20
80
of every angle, right?
80 pictures of piles of shit that didn't matter for nothing.
Well, how many pictures just of the burn barrel, which is, could be part of the crime. Let's not, let's just in their mind, in their scope of their mind. And they took how many pictures of Stephen's burn barrel from 20 different angles? Remember how many of the here's one from standing in the back of the Dassey yard looking at the burn barrel. Here's one close up. Here's one from another angle. Here's one. And so they do that. And at some point, I'm wondering, are they just doing this to collect a paycheck so they have something to turn in at the end of the day?
It's almost exactly like what you said. We took a bunch of photos. Here they are.
Where's my paycheck?
All right, here we are in the garage, and let me check something right here to see if there's any metadata attached.
They took pictures of pictures hanging on the wall. Why would you take a
They-
picture of a picture hanging on a wall? It's a great point, Jinx.
This says this is November 6th at 9:56 a.m. So, all right. Well, they've clearly identified some things that they're interested in, and I'm guessing Denny, Kel, anybody. These are, or were these fragments that they picked up, or what? What are the? That looks like another.
It looks like drips. Like when you were looking at number 1, it looked like a drip.
Like an antifreeze coolant.
Because the
something
center
like
of it looks
that.
like they stuck their cotton swab in there to take the sample out.
Does kind of look like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And they got a nice little white marker piece there too to
Highlight it.
Mm-hmm.
Too bad for Fassbender and Wiegert. Those aren't blood drops.
Well, and even if it is blood, it would only come back to Stephen Avery.
That's right. Another drip there. Several in this little grouping here.
It's a lot of little yellow cards for nothing.
Yep. No, not one thing on there filled out.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. Date, time, location, blank. Come on.
Mhm.
Amateur
You guys-
hour, you know.
Throw a card down there. Well, it's not filled out. I don't care. We're busy.
It's like when
Looks
you're
like
making
more-
a movie and you're like, okay, we're gonna do this shot now. Here's the placard so we can keep track of our shots. No need. Okay.
That looks like a shoe. So yeah, definitely a shoe print of some type. They never talked about it though. Any footwear really at all.
Which is another tell almost in itself, right?
There's a shell casing.
22.
Number 11. 12.
It's another 22. Well, I mean, that's why they went with 22 because look at how many 22s they're finding in the garage.
Yeah, hell, they're everywhere. Of
We
course.
ran out of white pieces of paper. We need to use night crawlers now.
I saw that. The tight shot.
But here's the thing. You take a picture of this stain, but it's not blood, and it has nothing to do with anything, but you put your little measurement tool on there, and it looks all scary and official to a jury. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know what they're doing. They know how to it's like a crime scene, what do you want to say, performance art, right?
Yep. It's a visual thing. Okay, still same day. This is at 10:39 a.m. So they've been busy, you know, back of the Suzuki. This is for those out there that are maybe newer to the case, this is the vehicle that Stephen wanted to fix up for Blaine and Brendan to drive. 22, whatever that means. I don't know where that lines up in the evidence category. These are pretty blurry. There's the door laying down. They've got the measurement tool out there, and I don't know what that placard says. I doubt that. Oh, it's not a placard. Evidence do not.
That's a joke. Tamper. That's it. From Manitowoc?
Yeah,
Not Tamper?
that's-
Man,
Well,
that's
fun.
fresh.
Yeah.
That's fresh.
Of course, we're moving to the outside now. That's Barb's trailer. Or not trailer, but the double wide. It's a modular home.
Blood that isn't blood, or it's deer blood or something, you know. Like,
Yeah.
that's a pretty big drop of blood, by the way. If you're really like,
It was.
that's pretty big, you know.
I think this is the Grand Am. I just seemed like I remember this.
Isn't this
so.
his truck?
Yeah, I think
It could be his. It could be his truck. You could very well be right. Yeah.
when
Look at all this.
they gave him like the tone and the voice of O'Neill when Steven told him that he had a 2002 truck Ford. He's like, really, 2002? Like he was surprised that Steven was driving a really nice new truck. Wow, 2002! Holy shit! It's only 3 years, you know. It's only a 3-year-old car for a guy who's only been out of prison for 3 years, right? So, you know, I'm sure people helped him get that. He couldn't have earned money because he didn't have any money, but it is nice to be driving a new car. He didn't really take care of it very well, did he?
Not really. Definitely spilled a lot of crap in it.
Again, you spill Mountain Dew and that becomes evidence in a crime now? You know? It's just ridiculous.
Well, those definitely. I think they definitely found some blood spots in the F-350, but you know.
They're his, right?
Yeah. And this is the truck, obviously, that Jody wanted to get to Rolly. And this must be.
This is Chuck's place.
Is this Chuck's place? I was going to say.
I'm pretty sure it's Chuck's place.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
You got that wood burning stove.
Yeah, look,
There's a
fucking
gun
junk.
sitting there.
He had a lot of fucking junk pile up in his house, didn't he?
He just throws guns against the
You got a gun
ladder.
right
Yeah.
Yep. With a scope. In the shop. There's the safe.
It's a pretty heavy duty safe. Wow.
I was just about to say that's a big ass safe, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a pretty formidable safe, I would say. If you want to break into it, you're going to be doing some blasting or some drilling.
Wow.
Maybe both.
This came up earlier. Here's another gun, and then in these drawers, there's a gun, and then what else do we find that's always kind of never set okay with me is the police badges that were found in these desks. So you have guns and police badges, and it's like, you know, it's like when people say, well, it's not illegal to have a police badge. No, it's not. But why do you need it, and why do you have it near your guns, and why is it, you know, like just thrown in your desk drawer like you're going to go out on a mission and grab it before? Because we know that, and I'm not accusing Chuck or Earl or anybody of a crime, but we know that people have, you know, pretended to be law enforcement before, and that is a real thing that people do. So it just never set well with me. It just never has. I don't know how to explain it.
No, I mean, you know,
why would we have
what
those
I'm gonna
badges?
put a blue light inside your car, you know, be on your fake patrol, you know, looking for something to shag, pull some young gal over, flash your badge, say, look, we need to talk. I get what you're saying. It's disturbing. And it looks like from the log book, another gun of some type and a clip.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I do have to go. So I just want to say goodbye to everyone. Thanks for everyone for tuning in today. And I just want to shout out to the sad news for Kevin Fox, which was one of Kathleen Zellner's clients who was wrongfully convicted of murdering his 3-year-old daughter, I believe Riley Fox, but was found, he actually also did a false confession and was found to be pressured by law enforcement and confessed wrongfully and was released.
Yeah, he wasn't convicted, but he was. Yeah, he wasn't convicted, but he was charged, and he was held for like 9 months or something until Kathleen got him out. That's right.
And yeah, he died in I believe, a car accident today. So, bit of sad news from the
It is.
world of wrongful convictions. But I just want to say goodbye to everyone, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks,
See ya, Cal.
Cal.
Thank you, Cal. We'll go a little bit longer. I think we're just kind of really caught up in these. This is one of my favorite parts, because I was just talking about these badges.
Yeah.
And so we'll just do a few more for you guys out there in the chat.
Now that's a Green Bay badge number 53. You know, if they found it in a car, turn it in, send it to them. You know, don't keep it. I don't know what this other one was. I can't. You guys can read it.
To have it like one thing,
Deputy
to like have
Sheriff,
it.
Manitowoc County.
Yep,
There you
there's
go.
another one.
Would them
What-
be
so-
Arlen's?
Why would Arlen
That
have this
could-
stuff there though?
Well, Arlen, that could have been Arlen's badge, but yeah, I don't disagree with you. But this Green Bay one wouldn't have been. That wouldn't be Arlen.
There's
I
some
wouldn't.
more. Oh, it's
Yeah.
the same
Oh,
one.
I
It's
was-
different angle. Sorry.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
It looked silver. You know, it just changed color, and your eyes just immediately. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's never. It's always been an issue for me. I've never really felt comfortable with that, because I'll tell you why. Because you could store it in a safe, keep it in. If you have like a little heirloom box, you have, this is Arlen's old badge. We wrapped it up in his thing, and we keep it in a box under our bed. But having it in your drawer, in your desk drawer with your guns,
Didn't look good. The appearance is
Doesn't
bad.
doesn't look good. Yeah, that's what
Yep.
I'm saying. And like we've always said, could be nothing. We could be completely wrong. I could be completely off my kilter on that one, and but it just doesn't. It doesn't look good. And how don't the cops key in on that? How don't they go, Chuck? What is this all about? You want to explain this? Never
Yeah.
mentioned.
No. Okay, we skipped out of the office. We're out in the yard, and this is moved up to November 11th. And I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell everyone right now. I should have said it earlier. I don't know what order these photos are in. They're just numbered as they are, as we got them. So nothing's been changed. Anyway, this is November 11th, 9:23 in the morning. And as you can see, obviously, it's got crime scene tape up. They've destroyed the pit's been destroyed at this point. Anyway, I don't know if you want to stop here and pick it back up next time. It's up to you. I can keep going if you want. It don't matter to me.
No, I mean, I think we covered a lot today, and Kel's already dropped off, and I think Denny's
Yep.
trying to get to his beauty sleep time, and we've been at this for 2.5 hours. Usually we go around 2.5, 3 hours, so I think it's a good time to stop, and we'll pick up picture time and whatever topic we talk about next time we go live. So
Sure. Okay.
Thanks, Kel, for sticking around, and we appreciate that. But then I'll just go around and thank you guys each. And Calf, you have anything you want to add before we're off for the night?
No, not really. I really do enjoy the pictures. I think it helps to go over them, fresh eyes and things like that. But yeah, just thanks for having me. Thanks for the, people watching and listening in. Appreciate it. That's it.
Thank you. I mean, I appreciate it too. And we'll be back next time, and maybe Calf and I might work on a project or something for you guys moving forward.
Yeah, we have
and
got something in the wings.
we do have something working in the wings, but we're not quite ready if we want to share yet what it is. But it's a topic that we've talked about for a while. So we'll see. We don't want to tease you guys too much, but maybe in the next live we might have something special whipped up for you. So no promises, but I think Calf and I got some work to do. At least Calf has some work to do. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Denny, it's great to have you back again. Haven't seen you in a while, but of course you bring the tenacity every time you come, so appreciate that.
Thanks for having me back. Thanks for all you in chat. It's good going back, looking through these photos. when I first started on this case, I spent a lot of time going through the photos. So you kind of get a sense that they were just trying, in my opinion, they were just trying to overwhelm, the defense or anything like that with just having an abundance of random crap that you have to sift through.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's a strategy of fascism, actually, but to fill the zone with not necessarily false information, but all information, right? Just fill
just
the
like
zone
a whole lot
with
of nothing.
and you get lost. You get lost in it, and then you have to do what we do: is go through everything one at a time, zoom in, see if there's anything worthwhile. Because, like you said, how many pictures did you get, Jack? Over 2,000 in this dump?
Yeah, well, and this folder alone that Seeking and Henbury got is 2,150 something photos in this one dump here. Of course, there's others that we've already covered as well. This is the largest block of photos I think we got at one time, but yeah, there's over 2,000 in this folder. I mean, a lot of them a good chunk of them are completely irrelevant. It's like Denny said, this is an overwhelming kind of tactic. But I think, as everybody has seen, now we can talk far more intelligently about these photos and what they represent, and look closer. Minute detail. I agree. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun. I think people also in chat have been enjoying it and appreciate it. And like we did, we had to move back. Hey, Travis wanted to check something out. We did that, and that's why it's so helpful to have all these other eyes in the space looking at these pictures at once.
That's right.
Jack
goes
through them by himself. It's not going to be as effective. We do this.
I'm gonna miss something. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I do appreciate picture time. I think it's become kind of a cornerstone of what we do here at the lives after the premieres. So yeah, we'll keep doing that. And there's always stuff to see. There's always new things to explore. And like we did 2 weeks ago, we were doing audio mostly. We did a lot of Jody audio, which there's still more to dig into there. There's always more audio recordings, phone calls that are interesting. And so, well, I'm happy. I think we really had a good lively discussion and got somewhere, kind of hit some different areas of the case, the swabs, all these pictures. We're talking about a bunch of different elements. So
the blood.
Yeah, we hit a lot of different areas. So really appreciate everybody sticking around. And if you have stuck around, please give us a share on your social media. We're almost closing in on 900 subs, and after that it's the coveted 1,000 subs. So help us out to share the channel, to spread the word, and we will continue to keep doing what we're doing. So for Calf and Denny, Jack,
I'm just going to say thanks, everyone. Yep, I was just going to say thanks, and thanks for sticking around, everyone.
Yep, see you guys.
Night. Have a good day wherever you are.
Absolutely. So for Denny and Jack and Calf and Kel and Brian when he comes back, this has been Live After Discussing a Murder.